It's Tuesday night. Welcome to the High Council. Let's wind the clock back 2 years. These ideopolitical extremists, not creating but repurposing franchise, would not listen to any fan. And what did they do? They served us, force-fed us incompetent Ghostbusters, Star Wars, Star Trek, and Doctor Who, not because these chameleons of false virtue were trying something edgy and new, but because their fringe ideals and preferred extremist Twitter blue checkmark versions of racism and sexism was held as a higher priority than honoring the legacy and lores that came before them. These socially destructive aberrations, these bigots of masked virtue, these self-important, insanely wealthy ideologues, the bullies of yesteryear, had not a single connection to the geek and nerd cultures for which they have been given the keys to drive what we have loved into the ground. They have no attachment to it, no love for it. They do not care about these properties, legacies, characters, legends, mythos that we, the geeks and nerds of decades past, cherish as escapism from the bullies throttling abuse. We were not members of the in crowd. We were not the popular kids. We were the outcasts, the rebels, the misfits, coming together in comic book shops, playing Dungeons and Dragons, to engage in competitive gaming before it was the cool thing to do. We were the original cosplayers, fandom event organizers, and we did these things not only for the love in our hearts that we had for Doctor Who, Star Trek, or Star Wars, but to respect the creativity of those who imparted their visions to us as escapism from the mundane, to evade the bullies who mocked us for liking the things that we loved. Now these false creators, these repurposers, these bullies of yesteryear have taken control of the games, comics, television, and movies that we have loved and supported for decades, some of us for generations. The sole intent for these heartless propagandists is to use what we have adored for most of our lives as a platform to espouse bigotry, segregation, division, and hate. They mock us, use the mainstream media, access, and spineless cuckold shills to wave false narratives about us and once again set to shame us into obscurity from the very escapist entertainments, the very modern mythologies, the very bastions of inclusion that we once called our fandoms. But we have been here before. In older times, we have suffered this type of ostracization and abuse. Were we once not the outcast in times of old, the rebels, the misfits? Out of these dark times in our pop culture, after the obscenity of CBS All Access Star Trek, the mockery of Chris Chinball's Doctor Who, and the complete and utter degradation and disrespect of the single greatest hero in science fantasy, Luke Skywalker, all of these intentionally open insults to everything that we have loved for decades. These hateful, crass, disingenuous social justice bigots set about defaming, labeling, attacking us if we dare have anything to say about it. They use their weight in the media in an attempt to bludgeon us into capitulation. Yet there were those who would not kneel to this onslaught of false narrative and fake virtues. These men and women who showed us the way, who stood up and raged against the machine, who put themselves, their professions, their companies, and their families at risk to be our voices in this war for our modern mythologies. Across the ether of disenfranchised fans came out voices independently, yet in unison, from Anna that Star Wars girl to President Abu Nas, from world-class bullshitters to Midnight's Edge. Those who have supported and adored these modern myths cried out against the perversion of what we love. And the geeks, gamers, nerds, comic book enthusiasts came together and formed a new bastion of free thought and expression for what we love. And the fandom menace was born. And I, author Stephen Walton, the Fandom Menace historian, your historian, created in the chats of the High Council with my brothers and sisters, seek to honor these voices and document who we are and what we stand for. Without respect, we reject. We do not bow to social terrorists. As the Mecha Random 42s, Jesse Milestone, Jeremy Griggs, Lord Doomcock, Uncle Ethan, Gary Nerdrotic, and so many others have taught us, when the industry tells us to like it or leave it, stand up, my brothers and sisters in the chat, and shout, we do not kneel. Hail the Fandom Menace, and all hail the High Council.
Hail, brother Steven. Wow. Hey. I didn't expect it to be that big.
And now I set a car on fire.
Welcome, everybody out there. Welcome to the High Council. With me, as always, is Mecha Random. How are you doing, Mecha?
Hello, doing good.
Jeff Jeff is on vacation, so he'll be joining us next week. That's why the show is on Midnight's Edge tonight. And, of course, speaking of Midnight's Edge, we have with us for a short time, Andre. How you doing, sir?
Greetings, everyone. I'm good. How about yourself?
Doing the best I can. And of course, you already heard author Stephen Walton of the Fandom Menace. And with us is a very special guest, NFL star Uche Wanere. How you doing, sir?
What's going on? Hail to the fandom. I love it. I love the intro.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Inspired by people on this council, inspired by my brothers and sisters in the chat. I am writing the Fandom Menace volumes to document our history, this culture, where this fight for our modern mythologies from people all over the earth, all different countries, all different backgrounds, all different walks of life coming together for our love of geek culture.
Yes, and it's actually not such a bad thing that it went so far, because by the time we start talking about some of the topics, it's probably going to be a good thing we're past that 15-minute mark anyway. So, yeah, especially with...
I just see people.
Yeah.
Where'd she come from?
Oh, we'll get into that. Well.
Is she here now? Is that a thing now? What's going on?
You're going to tame her for us, Uche?
Huh?
You can tame her for us, Uche?
Oh, will I? Will I? Of course I will.
Thank you. Thank you for your sacrifice, brother.
Always ready to take one for the team.
Oh, it's been an interesting day. We've gotten some interesting news. Of course, BreeTube's been a thing for a while, but we've also got some Star Wars news, oddly enough, out of nowhere. And Scott Mendelson is attached to it, funnily enough. And what else did we have, Mecca? There was something else I brought up and I forgot. But anyway,
Bree wants to be people. She wants to be YouTube people.
Oh, well, we know that. I know that. Yeah. But we're definitely going to talk about that. And oh, yeah, the other thing was some Marvel news. There was some Marvel news from our good friend Mikey Sutton. So I don't know where you want to start, Andre. What's more interesting to you, since we have less time with you?
I'll leave it to the panel, so you can begin with anything you feel like. Not Bree, though. I'm so fed up with her. So
I kind of figured that was something you didn't want to discuss.
Is there something good? Is there something good in entertainment?
Well,
Tron.
the
Tron.
Disney might be developing Tron 3 again. There's some rumors suggesting.
Yeah, the panel on my show, most of them are like, "Nah, I don't care," but I want to see Tron 3.
I do, but here's my problem with it. I think this is just a lot of people like hoping that something happens, because if you actually read the interview, there's nothing solid in there. They're just talking, and they're like, "Oh, there could be a possibility now with Disney Plus." But here's the thing. According to Script Doctor, our good friend, he got a memo that says directly they're not taking any new pitches for Disney. They're just trying to salvage what the hell they got left, and that's it. And so this could be one of those things, possibly, because this script has been around for a long time. Mm-hmm. But I don't see them putting it together with Jared Leto for a price that's going to make them money, because that was the problem with Tron 2. And then the other bit of news, we heard a rumor out of Pinewood, is that Disney might be shutting down their productions for the next 9 to 12 months. So I don't really foresee anything getting underway that's new or isn't already been in development.
So many people out of work across the country, and now that's just going to add to it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what you have to say about that, Andre. I mean, again, I would be thrilled to see another Tron movie. I loved the first two, but
Yeah, I'd love to see one, but again, as you say, I think it's probably mostly headlines, but it's something worth discussing because it's not, well, probably it's completely dead. But then again, so was Tron prior to Tron Legacy, a movie I, by the way, absolutely love. But that's me, one of the best.
Well, where this comes from, to be clear, is a guy who's attached to Daft Punk.
Yeah, I read something about them doing the score, I guess.
Well, yeah, they did the score for the last film.
And that was great.
Yeah, as long as they're back for the third one.
It was amazing. Like right now, Tron and Daft Punk are completely intertwined. You can't do Tron at this point without Daft Punk. They were that integral to it.
Agreed.
But my point is he's so tangentially attached to them, and then they're tangentially attached to Tron in a sense that how much is that really? Can we trust that's? They're just talking about, oh yeah, it'd be something we'd love to do. Is basically what he said. So to me, it just screams like, and he's like, oh yeah, they got a script that Disney loved. Well, yeah, they loved it years ago, but they didn't make enough money to do it. So I mean, again, I could see them doing something for Disney Plus, but I don't see Jared Leto being involved.
I very much doubt that is going to happen, although it would be nice to dream. But speaking of not happening, as you say, Disney's not going to have anything happening for, probably another year. And we'll see where the world is in another year from now, because at this rate, who the hell knows?
I mean, are they going to be putting all their stock into Disney Plus and doing things for that, or are they just not going to produce anything? Because we still have stuff that's coming out for Disney Plus.
Yeah, here's the thing, though, that they can't really shoot anything now, can they?
No, and that's the problem. And there's still actually some of Winter Soldier and Falcon they got to shoot yet, too, I guess, that they haven't finished. So that's technically not done.
Yeah, exactly.
At least that was the latest talk on that. But outside of that, there was some good Marvel news. Did we want to get into the Marvel part of this, Andre? Did you hear about this? I'm sure you did hear about this from Mikey.
Yeah, I heard, but did I pay attention to it? That's a different matter.
Well, according to our good friend Mikey Sutton, he says that Thor Love and Thunder is here's some news about Thor Love and Thunder. Jane Foster will not be the only one worthy of holding Mjolnir. How do we say it, Andre? Mjolnir. Okay. Thor Love and Thunder is enveloped in mystery despite rampant speculation of certain characters appearing. The Silver Surfer was debunked not too long ago, but Beta Ray Bill remains a question mark. According to the inside sources, Beta Ray Bill will be coming to the MCU without a doubt. Whether that will be Love and Thunder is still an unanswered question. Nevertheless, it seems quite likely. However, there is one thing that is supposedly inevitable. Beta Ray Bill will take, what is it?
Mjolnir
away from Thor.
We just need to record him saying that so we can just pop it over.
But yeah, so basically, that's kind of adding more credence to what I was saying about Natalie Portman not having the powers in Mjolnir.
Say Mew, and it's going to be just as fun.
Same Mew. Yeah.
Sound like I'm drunk on the council. Yeah, Jeff's gonna be like, "What the fuck is he doing?"
I'm sure many in the YouTube community will get a kick out of what Mjolnir, the name of the hammer, actually means is mauler.
Wow.
Oh, that's too
Mauler
cool.
Would like that.
Yeah, that's what it means.
Well, I'm gonna call it Mauler.
It's so much easier. You know how you sound like Rob. I'm just gonna call it Rob Mauler.
I mean, can they consolidate? Can they consolidate the Lady Thor run into a 2-hour film? And because the run itself isn't that bad, the story itself, but can they do it in a 2-hour film?
It depends on what elements they use. Now, I don't know. We don't have too much to go on because we don't know anything about it really, other than the very little that's been out there. But I've said already, either it's going to be, just a way to cure her cancer, or if they don't go the cancer route, they'll have like
some other debilitation.
Well, they'll have Ghost of Odin show up and be like, well, if you plan on spending your life loving Thor, then you have to know what it's like to be Thor and give her the powers of Thor for a day, and it'd be like a romantic comedy kind of thing.
Don't even have to do that, because here's the thing: if you look at what Marvel has done before, what do? Basically, they take the title and they take some really, really tiny, vague thing that's associated with the comic storyline, and the rest they do their own thing. That's going to be exactly the same thing here. So you can have read the comics as much as you want, but really it's not going to go that far in predicting exactly what they're going to do, because they're going to go in such a different direction, and that is a given.
You know, I just want to, if they do that, I just want to see a collaborative woman power moment like we got in Endgame. That's what I want. That's what I'm looking for.
God, please don't.
No, that was so cringe.
Let's get them, girls.
Ugh. Really, really, you need to prove yourself because you've never, ever had a movie in your life before. You just got out of the kitchen 2 days ago. Seriously, ugh.
I know some people don't like Tessa Thompson. I actually like her, and I mean, give Valkyrie that shot. You know, she's the leader of Asgard at this point, so you know, I think that should fall to her. Frankly, as an actress, she's more believable as a warrior than Natalie Portman, and I like Natalie Portman.
See, Natalie Portman just bothers me because of like her off-screen activism crap and her, she just bothers me.
As an actress, I do like her,
and I do like Tessa Thompson
all
too.
in her face with it, at least, like not like Brie is.
Yeah. Well, Uche's gonna take care of that for us.
We're gonna
no, I like Tessa, but I don't like she's like Brie in a sense. I wish she'd shut her mouth when it comes to the politics. No one wants to hear what you think about politics right now. The last thing anybody wants to hear about, you know, and I mean, I don't want to get too deep into that, but that's like a major issue and goes into your whole rant in the beginning, Stephen, was that, you know, we've seen this and this whole, you know, last few months and weeks of everything that's in the news is just doubling down now. We thought we were getting away from some of this, and now it's just, I don't know.
I don't know why you would think such a thing, but
it's genuine.
Getting away anything.
Yeah, it's people trying to take a genuine concerns and then using it for some kind of advantage, and that's a shame. You know, that's what it is. It's virtue segment.
The thing for me, like when I listen to a lot of like, I guess more actors than maybe other industries, but it's that they say things like it's such a matter of fact. It's like, no, nothing's just a matter of fact because you say it is,
right? And
they put their spin on it, and they don't really. They don't allow for it to just be for it to start as a conversation rather than them just kind of picking their side and pointing the finger at somebody else about whatever, you know what I mean? Like
right. And that takes away from legitimate conversations that could be had, you know.
Absolutely. Or the same thing with like Brie, for instance, before we get into that, which we're going to talk about later, you know. She sits there and talks about her white privilege right on her Twitter, on her YouTube thing, and it's like she doesn't see the irony in the whole situation when she's bringing it up.
Here you are on YouTube. 2 days in, you're already monetized. You already have, 100,000 plus subs. Like your content's getting pushed to the very front, and you haven't put any work in. I mean, I remember when I started my channel, it was like, is this ever going to get going? But
right.
Everybody has to put in the hard work. Everybody gets their satisfaction from seeing their channels grow. And you just start off with it. There are people that have been doing this for 8-10 years who will be passed up in a week by her in subscriptions and have all kinds of exposure and all kinds of advertising and sponsorship. I mean, come on.
Right. And I mean, well, not like I said, not to go too far down that hole yet, because Andre just didn't really talk about it. But no, I mean, that's the irony of it. And that's what we were saying is like, Mecca was one of the spearheaders of that whole thing a while back. It's like, oh, she wants to make a difference. Well, then why don't she step aside so a black actress can actually play Captain Marvel like it's supposed to be,
That's Monica Rambeau, right?
Yeah, and she was, one of the ones who brought up that whole the petition online and stuff like that, and then that got brought up again, and it's like, okay, you want to really do something about your white privilege, then why don't you hand over your YouTube channel now that it's monetized and has 200-some thousand subs to just some random black person then, just to prove your point?
Can we get
I'll take it.
Yeah, let's give it to
So bad for her. That would be bad for her ego, and therefore bad for the cause. Because of course the rules don't apply to people like that. They want everyone else to abide by their rules, but they themselves are exempt from them.
I know I was being facetious, of course, but point being, we do have a couple super chats here I want to catch up on, but I think Rob's going to be coming in here, so I'll wait for him to get in here. That's his job. But anyway, no, I'm glad we have you here, Uche, because we got into a bit of a discussion, I guess we could say, when a lot of this stuff first sparked over on Comics Division's channel, and it kind of stemmed from the whole Gone with the Wind thing. I remember that, and now they've rebrought it out with a label on it. And I was just curious if you had seen things in a little bit different way since then, if you're still in the same boat, or how are you seeing things?
What was the position?
Originally, he felt like there was no reason it shouldn't be taken off, at least for now, while things were heated like this. And I said I'm not even too sure I'm happy with the label when they bring it back, because then it just starts this whole line of where do they stop? And now we've seen here in the last few weeks where, the more we let stupid win, the more we see more disclaimers. There's talk of there was people trying to censor like Airplane and stuff like that, but the director put the kibosh on that and some other things like that. Yeah. So, I mean, like, I don't know if you had any time to think about that, Uche, but we hadn't had a chance to talk since then. I just wanted to know how you were sitting with that.
So basically, my position, like, I didn't have a problem with them pulling it at that particular moment. I mean, there was the atmosphere. Yeah, it was a little thick, so I didn't really have a big issue with that. Now, with that being said, I think my main point of debate when talking about the whole Gone with the Wind situation is, from a purely logical standpoint, it's an IP. It's something that they own.
Right.
It's a company's product. Right. They only show it for the intent of making money, making profit. It's hard to tell them what to do with it. When they actually own it. So I mean, if they want to pull it down to add contextual notes, I guess kind of like a commentary along the movie. I mean, it makes sense if they want people who maybe don't know the history of the Civil War and a lot of the nuances of that time. I could understand that they would add some context in way of trying to explain how things were then compared to how they are now. But, pulling it and like kind of holding it up there as this example of this is what we don't want in our society, I think that's a little much, because at the end of the day, there's still an artistic and there's still a lot of context and a lot of amazing things within that movie that don't necessarily have to do with the themes that they're trying to explain, I guess, to the public. So, pulling it down permanently for me would have been a big no, just because it's still an artistic, it's art. It's an art form. So, regardless of how you feel about the time that it represents,
right,
there's still something to be found there that someone can enjoy. That even people who, I'm a black dude. My family loved Gone with the Wind. I've seen it like 6 or 7 times because it's a long movie, and I was watching it when I was 12 years old.
Well, and it has historical value, and that was one thing I kept bringing up to you. And I mean, maybe, and the reason I wanted to kind of talk to you is because I thought about it afterwards, and like, maybe I didn't make my point clear enough, in a sense that I wouldn't have a problem with the disclaimer if it was something they did on their own without being bullied into it. Like, I didn't mind it so much when it was on like the Looney Tunes when Whoopi Goldberg came on there, because there was some context there. Nobody had told them they had to do that. There wasn't under some kind of pressure. And I think that's kind of where you and I kind of see in common ground is, like, I think like the pressure of it may have been too much at that time. I don't know if that's what you're kind of getting to too. And I just
did that too, by the way. I didn't mean to interrupt, but
no, go ahead.
In their old Disney Treasures box sets were for the old cartoons from like the 30s and 40s and 50s. They also had Leonard Maltin show up and give like a brief context and introduction to select of those ancient shorts, which was actually pretty illuminating for just for providing the context. So
no, yeah. I guess so. Maybe that's the question I have, Uche. Do you think it's probably a better thing if it's something they do on their own as opposed to under some kind of pressure from the media or something like that.
Yeah, I think it shows you, I guess, the company's earnest, like their goodwill if they do something like that without having to be told to do it. And
Right.
I mean, I don't necessarily know how it played out with Gone with the Wind. If they just pulled it down and people noticed it, and then there was, people started making comments. And started,
No, that director come out and told them they should do it, and then they did it under
the
pressure.
director came out and told them.
That one.
That's on the director.
Was
That's on the
it was
director.
a director of.
It was the director of 12 Years a Slave.
12 Years a Slave. That's right.
I
Yeah.
forgot his name right now, but
So
he was
put it out
basically the
there.
one who started it all. He was the one who tweeted like, "Hey, HBO Max, I see that you got Gone with the Wind. Shame on you. Take it down." So basically, he was the one that demanded that they do it, and he was also the one that said that it's okay if you put it back up after some respectful time have passed, with a content warning. So basically, they did everything that he wanted and demanded of them in public. What's funny, though, is that the movie was up on a bunch of other streaming platforms.
Oh, yeah.
Yet he only singled out HBO Max, and all the others he gave a free pass to.
I didn't know it started like that. And
That's how it started. That's how it started.
Knowing that, I would never. I wouldn't agree with that at all. If he was going to do something like that, he should have did that behind the scenes. It seems a lot more thought through when you go behind the scenes, talk to the people that you need to talk to, and then they do it without really making any kind of, putting out any statement or anything. People won't even notice, and you'll have the same end result. When you put it out there and throw it out to the masses through social media, that's like pouring kerosene on a flame. Like,
exactly. But you know what he got out
now?
of it?
Everybody's paying attention to it.
Exactly. And also, he got loads and loads of brownie points from the woke crowd out of it for taking on a huge corporation like Warner.
Yeah. And welcome, Rob. I know you're trying to say something there. How you doing?
No, fantastic. Some people ask me where Pope Bob. I'm like, Pope Bob is meditating. I mean, Pope Bob, I agree. he may appear. You never know. He says his name 3 times.
Please
Hey,
don't.
he demanded you watch Hamilton, though.
Oh, jeez.
He did, yeah. He did. Well, he demanded you watch Hamilton.
Yeah, and I disobeyed him.
I need to watch Hamilton. I like the soundtrack.
At some
I
point,
never even cared to watch that. Like, I never had any interest.
Uche, at some point, I want to ask you about the Patrick Mahomes deal with the Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh, money. That boy got money. When I say that boy got his own money, that boy got his own money.
Oh, yeah. But and actually, the guy who directed 12 Years a Slave, his name is Steve McQueen.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah,
I don't know how I forgot that, but yeah, good point.
And not to be confused with the same Steve McQueen from the Sheryl Crow song. But he also got a bunch of free publicity out of it too. I mean, that's the other thing. What was his last movie? But his last movie bombed, actually.
I don't even know what his last one was.
I can't.
Exactly.
That's exactly why. Here's a chance for me to use the current social climate to get my name in the news, to get myself a whole bunch of free press. So look at me,
kind of like Ava DuVernay, yeah.
Or the Cyborg did that, and
here's the other thing that gets me: Steve McQueen. This dude was born in England. He's a British filmmaker. You know what? I've been to the UK. They're not that big on American history, okay? the only parts of American history they like is if it makes us look bad. And they refer to the American Revolution as a wee bit of unpleasantness in the colonies. You know?
Right.
I mean, so listen, Jack. A, shut up. B, shut up. And C, A, and B. Okay.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
I feel like you're holding back, Rob. Stop doing that, man. You're hurting.
You want me to go into? You want me to go
with the chest?
Full Sam Kinison mode?
Not yet. We need to get some of these super chats out of the way. Space Monkey sent us one before it even started. He says, "Hail, High Council. Please pray for Atlanta, Georgia." What,
Oh, I'm in ATL. It's wild out here right now.
Is it real bad out there?
Man.
I mean, it's that area where that whole shooting went down a month or so ago. That area is just a hot spot right now because people are there 24/7.
Yeah. How about the communities surrounding it? How are they doing?
I mean, Atlanta's always been a little bit of a wild city. And everybody's really there's not a lot of division or a lot of separation in the areas of Atlanta. So I mean, you can literally walk one block too far and now you're in a different side of town.
Oh,
you know, and people generally in Atlanta, people mingle pretty well. I'll say that. You'll see different people everywhere all the time, and everybody coexists pretty pleasantly. So I don't think among the citizens who aren't necessarily involved with all of the protests and just rabble rousing. I think for the most part, Atlanta gets along pretty well. Everybody lives pretty well together.
Yeah, my heart with those guys. My prayers with them.
And thank you, Space Monkey 0899 for the $4.99 super chat.
Tom, I just looked it up. Steve McQueen's last movie was called Widows. With, I believe it was.
That one.
I actually thought that might have been good when I saw the trailer.
It had a $42 million budget. Guess how much it made in the U.S.?
30.
42.4.
Damn.
Oh, made its budget.
Well, yeah, made its money back. No, you have to go twice the budget to equal the
3 times usually. Generally, twice though is enough for smaller films like that. I remember when that movie came out. Didn't it come up against a lot of other stuff though too? And it came out right in the midst of a lot of people just like, we've had enough of this girl power movie stuff. Yeah,
and there was the consensus was online amongst critics. This movie's great. Why aren't you going to see it? Because you can't make me. That's why.
Well, it probably is a good film. I mean, from the trailer, it looked like it was decent. It looked like it almost looked like a period piece from what I remember. And it's about these women whose husbands all got busted, and they were trying to pull off some big heist to.
I think they all got killed. Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a pretty good looking trailer, but it just didn't do nothing.
Yeah, this dude, Steve McQueen, though, he went to the Spike Lee School of Public Relations.
And I watched 12 Years a Slave. I don't think it was that great of a movie. The only thing I remember about it is the one chick forcing him to masturbate her. That's all I remember.
Wow.
And him running. That's all I remember from that movie. I'll be honest with you.
I thought it was a good movie. I thought it was good. I thought that it was trying to be a little bit overly dramatic in some scenes, but
I didn't see it. I know what
my favorite part of it was. That was the thing that happened behind the scenes, because this was all about the Sony leak, right? Yeah. Because there Amy Pascal, she has her way with words, and this is actually something that hit the mainstream a little bit, because what she said about that movie was that we should invite Obama to come see it. He'll probably like it because he's black, and this is about black people. So yeah, she went there.
Oh, she made herself in the news again here. Did you see that?
Yeah, just gonna link you that one about Amy Pascal.
Looking forward to doing the tutorial on it.
I didn't see 12 Years a Slave. Is there any karate in it?
What?
No, Rob. There's no karate in it.
Okay. Well,
no, but Amy
that's
Pascal
why Rob didn't
canceled.
You know, I did try and watch Charlie's Angels. I made it 5 minutes.
That was always a big Howard Stern line when someone come in promoting your movie. Is there any karate in it? No. Okay, I'm not gonna see it.
It wasn't that bad. I was being a bit facetious, but no, I want to see that other film of his. Then maybe I'll judge it. I just don't like him virtue signaling like that, and yeah, it just. Anyway, let's move on. Can you see the super chats, Rob, or do I have to read the first few here?
Sakaharo has an Australian.
Well, that was a brand new one, but we've got plenty before that.
Okay. Actually, CM Shazam. Oh, wait a minute! I get to use this one after a long time. Shazam! I like that.
That was. There's more before that too, but go ahead.
Thanks to Midnight Edge and Hail the High Council and Fan the Menace. You all make YouTube worth watching and life a little better. Oh, that's very high praise.
It just makes Rob happy to get to use sound effects. All right, I'll start back where you missed out because
damn right, I work hard for these sound effects.
You must not be able to read these. Dean Heiss, I think if I'm saying that right, said $2. Says Bree has still not passed Jeremy.
No, that's the bar now.
Well, this is actually, I think this is Friday Night Tights we brought this up on. Somebody posted on like one of Breebots is like, I bet you she gets more than 100,000 subs in 24 hours and beats that Geeks and Gamers guy or whatever. Like she didn't get the 100K in 24 hours, and I guess she evidently still hasn't had.
I don't know, but Jeremy's put out some very promotional videos on Brie Larson's channel. He really wants to help build this.
I'm sure
this new independent creator.
I love Jeremy. He was having fun with that. Sorry, Andre. Anyway, I know you didn't want to talk about Brie.
Yeah, well, I'll go with the council. Simple as that. So if that's what people want to talk about, Brie it is.
Not yet. We'll get there. Matt G sent a $1.49 super sticker with a white unicorn with rainbow hair. That would be a unicorn or a dupicorn or a derpicorn or a doomicorn or whatever we call it nowadays. Thank you so much for that, Matt G. Then we had Echo Base Network, our good friends over there, sent a $4.99 super chat. Says, "Hail Uche, my Facebook political debate partner. Cheers, my friends." Sounds like we just have some fun talking.
Man,
politics.
we have the epic conversations.
Good.
All right. Now we're going to be getting close here. I think Rob can catch up with me. Mark C sent $5. Says, Tom, it's becoming clear within the halls of Warner Music Group, there is a photo of you in the phrase public enemy number one.
That's great.
That is so deep. I don't know if we can get into that right now.
I have to say, Jonathan, you're really, really helping to build our brand because we're already public enemy number one in the halls of CBS and Sony. So if we now can expand to Warner as well, that would be pretty cool.
I think he's talking about my Mead Radio thing, which I still have yet to hear you say anything about. So I'm not sure how you feel.
The CBS post off, the CBS offices look like the post office, like the 10 most wanted list. And we're at, I'm currently sitting at number 7. Yeah, I'm trying to get up higher though.
Mead Radio is the most awesome thing to ever hit YouTube. Yeah, that's my 2 cents.
We get shut down sometimes. The Karens come out some nights they don't. I don't know why. There's no rhyme or reason to it, but
it's only a matter of time before the Karens come around.
That's right.
That's right. All right. Space Monkey 0899 sent us another $1.99 super chat. Hollywood actors equals NPCs. There is some truth to that without being too general. It's not so much, I would say, NPC, but how would you put this, Andre? There's a lot of what we hear is you basically have to go with the group think, or at least pretend to.
Yeah, absolutely, because here's like the thing that many of these actors, they don't choose to do this of their own accord. This is something you have to keep in mind. It's the same thing with many creatives. They are told from moneymen higher up that we want you to do this, or else you are finished. And so they basically have to just follow orders and march in line. And then the order comes in. We have now decided that you are going to do this. You're not doing a movie for us right now because of the whole COVID thing, but still we need to get our word out there, and we're gonna use you to get that message through. So you're gonna do this, and if you have any problem with it, then your agent will release you from your contract, and then good luck. You'll never work in this town again. So it's kind of like how that works.
You're a mouthpiece for the studio, really.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And I don't like generalized blanket statements myself, because there's always an exception to the rule. And a lot of people that work in Hollywood, not just the actors, but your set designers, your writers, these people, they have to agree with what's popular or what the money men have in order to keep working. And so you have to keep that in mind.
Yeah. So many of those people that go out and they make these ridiculous statements, like for instance, Tim Miller, when he went out and he basically came with this whole thing that, she'll like the androids something thing. I forgot the name of the actress. So she's going to play like gangbusters if you're enlightened, and if you're like a Trump supporter and afraid of women, she's going to
The
terrify you.
LGBTQ 1000. I don't remember her name either.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, those weren't. The words came out of his mouth, but he was not the one that chose to say them. Someone else higher up said, "You're to say this" in the promotional thing.
Yeah, they give you a bunch of talking points. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, he had to just follow the talking points that he was given. Of course, then we all turn around and blame him, but really, he's just a point guy from someone else higher up.
Right.
And this is the same with many of the actors and the producers and everyone talking out. They're just playing their part, and they may not mean it.
But they are taking responsibility and putting together in a video for you. They do take responsibility.
We got over 600 people watching. If you could hit that like button or at least share out the stream, that would be very helpful. Other people who are supporting with super chats here. Moving on, we got Duffs 101 who sends in 5 looks like pounds. Thoughts on potential for a Brie Larson Critical Drinker collaboration?
Yes.
Yes.
It'll be fine.
That has to happen before Uche gets to her.
So I was watching Brie Larson. I thought, what kind of idiot would say something as stupid as just she wants to be people? And I said, "Oh, this idiot." So
Yeah. That would have to be pre-Ooch involvement, because after that, he's going to take care of it. He's going to lay the pipe that's going to make everything right again. So let's get Critical in there and get that collab going.
Would you?
But wait a minute, Mecca. Oh, sorry, Rob. Go ahead.
Would you alienate a significant portion of the Marvel fan base if you did that? Nah, it'll be fine.
No, Mecca. What was I going to say? Now I forgot.
I couldn't tell you.
God
Retrace your steps, Tom. Retrace your steps.
I know. I forget. Next super chat. Mark C sent $5. Hamilton. Everyone knows that. I think Aaron Burr was the true hero after and disaster shot.
Guys, can I ask you a question?
Absolutely.
On behalf of the international community, speaking for myself only, when I hear the word Hamilton, then I think of the Swedish James Bond, because that's like a series of novel about like a Swedish commando named Hamilton. That is why that's what I think of when I hear Hamilton. Oh yeah, he was even played by Peter Stormare, you know, like the crazy Russian in Armageddon. He's the guy who played him in one of the.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'll send you a link for trailer.
Yeah,
it's pretty awesome. But anyway, that's what I think about when I hear the word Hamilton. What the hell is this Hamilton you're all talking about?
It's oh my gosh,
the famous white dude.
Yeah, Hamilton was an off-Broadway musical that was written by a guy named Lin-Manuel Miranda about the first Secretary of the Treasury, Alexander Hamilton, who pretty much established the modern Treasury for the United States. He wrote the Federalist Papers, which a lot of the doctrine in our government comes from. And he ran for president against a guy named Aaron Burr and was shot to death by him in a duel.
And when we think about him, we think about a milk commercial from the 90s that a guy couldn't answer because he had peanut butter and ran out of milk. And he would have won the radio. That's the only time whenever I hear about it is like, who shot Alexander Hamilton? I know that. And he goes to answer and he's like, remember what? Remember.
He was fun fact. He was actually shot. He was shot where the New Jersey Meadowlands stands today.
Okay, interesting. Interesting. Tom, I'm going to send you a picture right now of what I associate with Hamilton. You can't?
If you share it, I can share it. For some reason, because I'm going through StreamYards, through Firefox or whatever.
Yeah, spoiler. Okay, I have this. This is a spoiler as to how the musical Hamilton ends.
That's a shame.
Dad!
Rob, we were doing so well till then. Now you got us canceled.
That's actually a pretty awesome ending, and that's quite similar to lots of recurrent things in what I associate with Hamilton. I sent a link in the private chat if anyone feels like sharing.
Somebody can share it, and then I can share
He
it.
would have won that duel if he had Mew Mew.
Oh shit! But no, and then so everybody in the cast is like mixed race and stuff, and it's a musical, and it's on Disney Plus now, and everybody's supposed to watch it. I don't want to.
Yeah,
There's a black George Washington.
The soundtrack was great. For any of you out there who like musicals, I think the soundtrack was great.
I'll take the Lion King.
Yeah.
Can you feel
The love tonight.
Anyway, yeah.
Oh Lord.
Thank you so much for that super chat. We appreciate that. Duff's actually that was Mark C. Sorry, we're getting all behind. And then Larry sent us another Doomacorn or a Derpacorn. CM Shazam sends $4.99, says thanks to Midnight's Edge and hail the High Council and Phantom Menace. You all make YouTube worth watching and life a little better. Rob already read that one. But thank you again. And Sister Harrow sent us an Australian $10 super chat. Rob, that's one you wanted to read.
Yes, Sister Harrow. Where is it? Hold on. Did you review? Sister Harrow, supporting independent creators, listening in the background while I'm working. Thank you for joining us, Sister Harrow.
Big supporter of the channels. And then Culture Casino is the next one there, I think.
$2.
$2.
Jude Law may play Captain Hook, who's axing the hand.
Well, he can't play Captain Hook if he has a hand. That's very true, Culture Casino. Because did you hear the other news? I knew this wasn't going to take long. What's her face? Halle Berry announced she was going to play some trans character, and the day later she backs out of it because of the. What? I knew she was going to get pressured because she's not trans.
So they're going to have they're going to have diversity scouts, guys, in Hollywood, just like baseball scouts.
They'll find a good trans actor.
Right.
Yeah.
Divine died years ago.
And she wasn't trans. Divine wasn't trans. Just
I know. She's a drag queen. He, she, whatever.
Still, though, I mean, it's acting. You're playing pretend.
Exactly.
That's the whole point of it.
Well, the whole reason
Think
they were
Rain Man would have been any good if we had a real retard in there.
Might have been better, Ooch. I don't know, man.
The outtake.
I don't know. A lot of people have thought that Dustin Hoffman wasn't all there, so.
Well, I thought the whole point of all these actors virtue signaling so that it was actors of color would get more of a shot. So now you've got Halle Berry stepping down.
That only makes sense because you basically just have to understand their own ideology because it's intersectionalism, right? And in the intersectional pyramid of oppression, then a trans person is higher up than a straight cisgender black person. So basically that actually trumps a black person, meaning that not even a black actor can play not even a black actor can play trans. That's what I meant to say.
When someone says something about intersectionalism, okay, go stand out into go stand in intersection and let's see how long it takes you to get run over. Okay, that's just enough of this. Okay,
well, they do that already. They're playing in traffic.
Go find a good trans actor. I dare you.
Right.
You won't.
So geez, we'll be back here in 3 months. Halle Berry is the role once again.
I don't even think Boy George is trans. So
no,
Boy George.
Yeah. There is one, at minimum one, because if you've seen Orange is the New Black, there's like a trans character there, and that's a real trans actor.
Yeah.
And the one in the Saved by the Bell reboot.
The one of the girls in
Teenage Girl.
What? Saved by the Bell?
Yeah, it was like a continuation. They've got a trans actress playing like a teenage character.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the one from the 90s.
No, it is technically it's a new version of it.
Yeah.
It's not it.
There was one model who was in a Bond movie for Your Eyes Only. Her name was Tula. She was actually a trans woman, but she was born with with both sets of
hermaphrodite.
That would be hermaphrodite.
Yeah, hermaphrodite. Yeah.
That's like what's her name?
Yeah,
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah, she. Well, I haven't read anything definitive about that, but
I think that's a Hollywood myth, but it could be true. I guess. I don't know.
I mean,
Their biceps, Jesus.
hermaphrodites can be somebody who's just like got partial organs from the other sex. You know, it's not
and
always
that's what her deal was.
right.
Yeah, and at some point, her parents said,
All I know is whenever we get on this subject, all I can think about is Clerks 2. So I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut.
Yeah.
Dude, your mom's a slut and she's a hermaphrodite.
No, the part where I'm talking about Clerks 2.
South Park.
I was gonna say.
Oh Lord.
Anyway, let's get away from this subject before I actually get into the line.
Let's talk about
Yeah, 'cause I'll go
Alexander
in.
Hamilton. Tom, let's talk about Alexander Hamilton some more.
No, I almost rather would have done the other direction. Sandra Hammerslag sends in.
Fire.
Is this €2? Is this two? Yeah, it's €2, right?
Let's get
yeah,
the
that's, €2. Yeah.
Hitchcock said that actors are like cattle. He is correct.
Yeah.
Hitchcock knew how to get his actors to act.
He
That's all I'm
threatened
gonna
them.
say.
He maybe wasn't the best boss to work with. Like
No.
if he had been alive today, he would have been
Me too'd out the
too'd
ass.
up and be exactly. He would have been me too'd, and the Ray Fishers of the day would have come out and said how abusive he was and everything. But his movie's going to live forever. So there's that.
Yeah. All right. Next one, Rob. You got it? Greg Kirby?
Yep. Greg Kirby, $5 Canadian. YouTube gave Brie Larson 100,000 K check while at 30K. Also, YouTube wasn't made for a 30-year-old Brie Larson.
I don't know about that, but I'd say Robot Head made a very good argument for who is behind this whole thing. Don't you think, Andre? Did you get a chance to check out that video?
No, I didn't see it yet. So give me the brief summary. As I said, someone is paying the bill behind her. She's not doing this of her own accord, is what my belief is. But what does he
Can't
say?
confirm it, but I'm willing to believe that he's right, that it's YouTube, because she talks about YouTube this, YouTube that. There's even like what oh god, what was the one title, like how best things for you, how to use YouTube best or something like that. I can't remember.
Yeah, and I agree, it's YouTube. I'm
Yeah.
not saying
Oh, yeah, she's definitely
someone
getting
is
paid for
paying
that.
her. Someone is paying her. And that could very well be Google on behalf of YouTube to push the platform in light of Rogan disappearing. They need someone else to draw people in, and at the same time to show them how progressive they are and score some brownie points.
I heard,
So-
I heard
PR
Spotify,
move.
Spotify is going to be adding video soon.
Interesting.
Yeah, you'll find us on Spotify. Yeah, that of course they are. Like if they're getting Joe Rogan, they're not going to have him be audio only. Of course they're going to be adding some video. That's like it has to be like part of the push that they're planning.
That's not a horrible idea. They may be somebody who has a chance to come in and do something.
Yeah,
They kind
absolutely.
of have a platform already, kind of.
Now, if Spotify adds video, then this changes. This is a game changer.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's serious competition for YouTube.
It is.
Yeah.
Instantly.
Yeah.
'Cause I know my channel gonna be on there.
Yeah,
Woo!
you're right about that. Me too.
Well, I'm sure Jeremy would jump on there too, yeah, with Geeks and Gamers, and I'm sure
Gary
that might
would-
actually that would actually probably get us thinking about
Oh,
moving
absolutely.
to
Like, I'm thinking about it now. I would guess that to do it.
right, but I mean, I'm just saying I don't want to talk about
You do both of them.
Office out
You have
in-
your content on both platforms. Shoot.
Well, yes, of course.
play both ends against the middle. Hey, YouTube. Hey, if you want to make a
7 streams of revenue for the average millionaire.
That's right.
But it's gonna force YouTube to up their game.
They're gonna have to start paying more.
Yep.
I mean, it's always starts with that. It's gonna raise the market for us.
Uche, you know all about it. When somebody goes out and gets better players than you, what do you got to do?
You got to go get better players. And once that price is set for a certain position, because one guy got paid a ton of money, then the next players are going to base all their salaries off of that guy's paycheck.
A rising tide lifts all boats. Yep.
Yep. Like that. The biggest thing that happened, Pat, for the Patrick Mahomes contract is that the next quarterback to get paid is going to be asking for at least the same within 5 to 10 million of what he made. Only thing that keeps him up there where other teams won't pay necessarily as much is because he got Super Bowl ring and Super Bowl MVP and an MVP.
Right.
The big worry though is what if Patrick Mahomes gets injured? I mean, that's the big thing.
Hey, that's part of the game. He got injured last season, and what did that change?
Exactly. Just hope he's not going to turn out to be Andrew Luck. I feel for the guy.
Andrew Luck got abused. That was abuse. What they did to him. They did the same thing to Peyton Manning. They didn't take care of their quarterback. They never got him an offensive line. You got this guy back there. I mean, I played against him. I watched him get body slammed like nobody's business. And he's a big dude. He's a thick quarterback. He can take it. But when you get that 60 times a game,
right,
and you're under pressure and you got guys falling all over you, you got guys grabbing you and he sometimes he runs. He can run. And he's just taking shots.
And now too, just as about anywhere. I mean, the league is designed to protect quarterbacks.
Yeah. That's like number one. That's the player that matters above all else is the quarterback. And I mean, if you got to go spend the money to protect them.
All right,
you can't just leave them out there.
We've lost Mark Hamill.
He's like, huh? What? Sports ball?
Some of us like sports ball.
What is a ball? A football? What is that? Is that in my contract?
I'm just hoping the Giants are going to put some guys in front of Daniel Jones.
Of course, Rob made us a brand new one for tonight. I don't know if Andre would approve of this one or not.
Well,
No,
that's fine. No. God, that was brilliant.
I think I need to put a stronger smack effect on there.
Yes, like a big smack. But the timing is the best part.
Oh my God, you're harassing.
We need to recut it though, and instead of it being her saying "I farted once on the set of the Blue Lagoon," you just have it cut. I just play people.
Hey, you know what you should do? You should get one of those slap competition clips and paste your face over one of them.
Right.
The one that gets knocked unconscious, just collapses.
Yeah. Well, there's just the 3-second thing from that.
I know we'll have to recut it because I had to recut the original one to get it for our deal before. But we just got to have her be like, "I just play people." And then it would be perfect.
He stared at her for a second, like you.
It's the timing. And when I saw that the first time, I literally fell out of my seat. That was
just
the most perfectly timed joke I've ever seen in a movie ever. I mean, the South Park movie, I think I literally probably cracked a rib watching that movie.
I think that deserves one more play.
All right, sir.
I said to myself, wait a minute, I can do this. You know what the hardest part of doing that was? Actually just cutting the face out because I found a picture, but for some reason it had some kind of profile on it that I couldn't remove the background and make it transparent. So I had to find another picture exactly the same expression, which wasn't that hard.
I know. It was just the time to do it. That's the only reason I hadn't done it yet. That, and I was figuring if I did that, Andre would really fire me.
I need to put this sound effect over it.
I thought of all the things I could do, that would be the one thing he'd be like, "You cannot have Brie Larson being hit on our channel."
Okay, Andre, you've seen it. What do you think?
Rob did it, so he'll get away with it.
That was nothing wrong with it.
That was actually pretty hilarious, but sparingly.
Thank you very much.
That was hilarious. I loved it.
Rob gets away with a little bit more, and that's understandable, and that's why Rob gets more shit from me. So it's a handoff.
Because I am irreverent. Should we share this with all the Phantom Menace channels, or do we want to make this a Midnight Sets exclusive?
I don't care. They can all have it. It's up to you, man. You made it.
Do you feel? What do you feel? Should we circulate this among the?
It's so good it needs to be seen.
Yeah.
I'll use it on my soundboard. Add it to my clips.
Okay. Absolutely, go for it. Go for it.
Uche, would you like one too?
You get a brie. Everybody gets a brie.
I'll take a brie. I'll take a brie.
Use it at your will, since we
You're
can't use it so
harassing
much.
Brie. Oh my god.
I'll break a brie.
Oh, I'm waiting for them to show up in the chat yet.
Oh, I just
We need
love it when they say you're harassing somebody after having no contact with them ever. It's like I have not even commented on the woman's video. Like,
Maybe we need to put Doomcock's head on Terrence or Phillip. You know.
put my head on there. Shit. I have the writing crop though.
Jeremy be the interviewer.
Now you're getting like, we might as well just have somebody animated at that point. Like animate Mecca just beating the hell out of Brie with her riding crop. Like recreate the scene from They Live. Just, no, that's too good. That's too good. That Brie would
What
get
about
into
Brian?
shots.
What about Brian and Stewie?
No, more like it'd have to be more like Darth Vader kicking the shit out of Luke in Empire. Like that's how bad it would have to be. Like
It
down
could be Stewie, the Family Guy episode where he's beating up Brian for not paying him his money back.
Right.
Come on, man. Come on, man.
Yeah, exactly. I was thinking.
oh crap. Okay, so the other thing, how much more time did you have, Andre? I know it's getting really late for you.
Yeah, not too much more.
Okay. I'm sure you wanted to talk about these Star Wars rumors that came out today.
Yes.
This is interesting. Disney Star Wars is dumb reported on this. Our good friend Ichibaka brought it out. Scott Mendelson happened to retweet some information on the Rise of Skywalker. Hashtag Doomcog was right. I wish I could show this on. If somebody wants to,
Scotty
share this
retweeted and said Doomcock was right.
No. I was.
No, he does what he always does. See, Scott Mendelson, everybody loves to call him a shill, but he always has some nugget of, I gotta kind of grease the wheel sort of thing in there. And I think that's what he did with this tweet.
Okay.
That's
All
how
right.
you said that before about him too, because you're like, oh, I think he's on our side on this one or something from a few months ago. I can't remember which one it was.
Scott's hard to figure out because he seems like he's trolling the menace, and then
Yeah.
you never know where he's. Yeah.
He
But he
has
always
to.
wants to remain relevant.
If someone could share this on screen, though, that'd be
Oh,
great.
it's easy. He'll go where the wind blows. So
He has-
basically, when he thinks that okay, now sentiment has shifted enough that we can start slowly easing in some anti The Last Jedi and Star Wars rhetoric, he's going to do that. He's just basically going to go with what is popular, also within his crowd, and now more and more people are starting to wake up to the fact that, you know what, this really wasn't that. This wasn't so amazing. Like people are starting to recognize that, you know what, the emperor really has no clothes, to draw that analogy. And then he starts like releasing more and more nuggets that, this wasn't so amazing, so that he can still maintain his position as a journalist. Then he has to be able to say those things when the zeitgeist moves to allow him.
Right. Good word. Yeah. So what was the news, Tom?
Well, I was hoping somebody would share it on screen here, but because I just have nothing but trouble. when I try
Screen
to-
share.
Yeah.
My browser might crash though.
Well, my
Alright,
problem
I
is the
got it.
stupid. Yeah, I was gonna say, please.
Thank you, Mecca.
Thank you.
I've
Thank
got
you.
like 27 things.
I'm not-
I know you do probably.
Both monitors.
I'm not using Google Chrome. I'm using Vivaldi. So,
Well, that's my problem. Is I have to use Firefox to run this on the thing here. So this is gossip, he says, but this makes sense because whether I like each film or not, every prior J.J. Abrams movie is excessively well made. He is very good at what he does.
he is. Should I put Scott Mendelson's head on that body now?
We could do one of those. Let's see here. This guy here goes under Neon Heartbeat on Twitter, says, having a convo with my friend who works in the film industry who I haven't spoken to since last November. And boy, does he have tea on Rise of Skywalker. So Mendelson comes back with, I've heard variations on this elsewhere, but that could just mean the same narrative being shopped around. So, a little, of course, this is handled with a grain of salt kind of thing, right, Andre?
Yeah, absolutely. It's like it's it's still grain of salt, but here's the thing that now he writes about it for a major publication, and this is an open secret within the industry. I mean, I've heard from so many people now that both know someone directly in ILM or in Lucasfilm, and it was just an absolute shit show, and everyone really knows that. So it's something of an open secret, but you can't really talk, or you couldn't talk about it, because again, the emperor's new clothes. But now more and more people are starting to see really not wearing anything, and as that information becomes like more commonplace, as the open secret gets to the point that, you know what, we need to start talking about this now, then people are going to start talking about it. And that's what we're seeing here right now. So I think that you should still use some grain of salt for the details, but for the overall narrative, that it was an absolute shit show, that there were loads and loads of reshoots, that I think you can take to the bank at this point.
Oh yeah, like I was gonna say, as we get into this all this really does is, it doesn't really confirm, but it definitely adds more fuel to the fire of the stuff that Doomcock and we reported on, and I think even Jeff and Jeremy and a few other places kind of talked about too, but especially the stuff Doomcock and we reported on over at Midnight's Edge with the reshoots and all that business. So here we go. Neon Heartbeat gets into it. Points of note: he knows a stuntman doubling for Daisy who was shooting November 7th. Most of the issues with the studio demanding reshoots, not JJ or Terrio. Well, okay, now this is the same thing we heard in that other leak that came after the fact that was trying to paint JJ in a beautiful light. So this could be coming from that same camp. And I think that's what Mendelssohn's talking about.
And by studio, they really mean Iger. Hence, Iger cut is what we got.
All right, yeah, and he'll get a little bit deeper into that as we go along here. But this is something that's interesting because I believe this is something we reported on specifically. Matt Smith was cast as the original villain. This villain was not a clone of Palpatine, but an OC, and was cut when Bob Iger demanded to bring Palpatine back because the audience won't understand who this guy is. Now, that's basically what we reported as well.
Yes.
Every actor hated how the movie turned out.
When I had someone come to me about 6 months before the movie came out and told me Matt Smith was involved in the project and that he was going to be the son of the Mortis gods from the Clone Wars. And so, but that fell apart apparently because from what I understand, nobody would understand, or people outside Clone Wars or people that follow that path.
It was too inside baseball.
It was too much inside, yeah. But
his name was on the Disney UK website as being
well, we had that one shot,
and that dagger was supposed to be something called the Mortis dagger originally. That's what I was told by my insider.
What were you gonna say, Mecca?
Oh, I was gonna say he was on IMDb, and yeah, you're exactly right. He was supposed to be part of I thought he was, well, Screen Rant was reporting he was supposed to be I just did a video on this. He was supposed to be Palpatine's son, and I remember hearing stories that Matt Smith was supposed to be this character coming in from what was it, Rebels or Clone Wars?
Clone Wars.
Yeah,
and I think that's what we reported as well. Yeah.
You're a chip off the old block, Matt. Don't do it.
All right, let's move on here with more of this because this gets even juicier now. Trevorrow was not told what the plot of The Last Jedi even was when they told him 6 months before the film came out to start working on his script. So he had to rewrite that. Disney was, as we all suspected, paying attention to the negative reactions to The Last Jedi. And thought Rise of Skywalker would fix it. So yeah, this goes back to what we reported on. It follows up with that Trevorrow script that came out that was dated, what was it, like 2 weeks before The Last Jedi came out?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pretty much.
So like, or was it the year before? I can't remember. It was the year before because they had a year before the movie came out. But so then I don't know about that. I don't know about the time period on it. So he had to rewrite that 6 months before the film came out.
That's insane.
Yeah, because his version of originally, because we have the Trevorrow script, and I think they're off by a year.
I haven't read it yet. Tom,
It's decent. I've read most of it. The ending is much better.
I don't know what to look for though. Whenever what do you just have kind of to visualize everything? I mean, is that what it is? I mean,
That's what reading is, man.
Yeah, left to right, group of words make a sentence. They form a thought. Theater of the mind, Rob. Theater of the mind.
Is there any karate in it?
There might be.
Okay.
There's lightsabers. So
I was going to say there's lightsabers. Yeah, and Luke Skywalker.
Karate.
Does anybody remember a show called Dream On
Yes.
HBO? Brian Ben.
Yes.
When Scott McKean was his no David McKean, was it David McKean? What's the guy for Spinal Tap?
Michael.
David McKean, right? Michael McKean. He played the Australian publisher. He come to him with a new book idea. Oh, interesting. Any rough sex in it?
All right, Rob, focus, Rob, focus.
Sorry.
any space horses in it?
That not in Trevorrow's version, I don't think. He's also 100% sure that the promised merchant. Now, this is important because this goes along with JJ especially because he loves his merch, and this is one I know Andre is really going to hone in on.
Absolutely,
because you can pick this apart and take this many, many ways. He's also 100% sure that the promised merchandise is all stuff that was licensed and made relating to the first version of the film that originally was signed off on, which is why all we have are Knights of Ren, Stormtroopers, and Sith Troopers. Now, this, I think, not only goes back to why we didn't get a true Rise of Skywalker toy line. They didn't have time to get one together. And they just probably weren't that interested in trying, is the other side of it. And this goes along with what we did get. We got some various things out there in like the Black series and here and there. But no, this was the first Star Wars movie in history not to have a 3 1/3 quarter line or whatever the hell size it is. The basic,
3 inch.
It's a 3 and 3 plus, line that we normally get for a Star Wars film, which was the first in ever.
Well, did anybody really miss it? I mean, that's the thing. I mean,
no, I had to argue with people because they're like, "Oh, yes, there was." I'm like, "No, there wasn't, dude." It's like there was not. It's like you didn't even go buy them. I know because they didn't exist. They're like, I know somebody who had this. Yeah, it's because it was a black figure. They had or black line figure or whatever because they had specific ones that they did, and that was it. And that goes right along with what this guy's saying. The only ones that came out were the ones that were already pre-licensed and fit with the movie that was coming out. Everything else must have got scrapped.
A lot of this makes a lot of sense. Like I said, the Sith dagger had to be the dagger of Mortis.
Yeah,
It was a toy that was made for him by Hasbro. Yeah. What were you going to say, Andre?
Yeah, no, I said that sounds very plausible and very right to me. That they had to change everything in the very last moment, and that's when the toy lines went to hell. Of course, it's not going to matter because no one would have bought it anyway.
Oh, hell no. Hell no. We got Anna in the chat, and she says it's Rebels, not Clone Wars. I don't know which part that's referring to. Something I think was said before.
Oh, the character that Matt's been...
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. Just want to make sure I'm caught up on everything here before we get going back into this. All right. So, Andre, did you have anything more to say about the merchandising business? Because I know that's something that we've talked quite a bit about, along with Jeff at World Class did too. So I know he'll be interested in that too.
The irony that the one thing that, or at least one of the things that JJ and Bad Robot are so very, very interested in, that made them take on both Star Trek and first Star Wars, was merchandise sales. And what did they do when they got those gigs and they got a huge cut of the merchandise sales? They made the merchandise sales bomb. And these were for properties that were previously like they were basically like the gift that kept on giving where merchandise were concerned. They were like eternal springs, and they were able to shut them down. That takes effort. So, yeah, kudos.
They had pretty much a license to print money, as the saying goes.
Yeah. And they revoked that license. They didn't mean to, but that's what happened.
But like I keep pointing out, what is there in this movie? What do kids always? What do I always say? What do kids like to do with the toys?
Recreate the movies.
Yeah. What is there in these last two movies you want to recreate?
Especially
do they even fully understand it? Is the question. Nobody understood it. So why would they want to recreate the movie?
Well, they can recreate Rose Tico sexually harassing Finn. That's like a nice and good progressive thing to recreate. And of course, you can also recreate Holdo shouting down white supremacy by telling off the white characters by being a shitty leader, and then, oh, you don't follow me blindly, I'm going to tell you off. That's absolutely something that little kiddies can do on the playgrounds, prepare themselves for working life and for taking down patriarchy later on. So yeah, absolutely.
I want a lineless Admiral Akbar. That's what I wanted. Or a broom boy.
Am I the only one who plays Grand Theft Auto here?
No,
I play Grand Theft.
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah.
You guys familiar with Dwayne Earl on on Blaine County Radio? I will not sit in a cubicle being yelled at by some woman while she makes personal calls. That's pretty much The Last Jedi.
and what I mean by no is I meant yes, we all play Grand Theft Auto. Rob, you're not alone. It's not like you discovered something that nobody else knows about.
And speaking of playing, they could also bring in both like the female audience and the brony audience to play with the space horses. So,
God, don't bring up bronies.
But,
oh Lord, don't get me started.
But what I mean by play, am I the only one who notices that detail about it? But that's what I really meant.
All right, we need to
like the first game, dude.
He's got a lot more tweets here, so let's get these.
All right.
The Knights of Ren were supposed to have more backstory, and JJ specifically went to the trouble of casting all the OG stunt guys from the first film, only to have the studio cut their backstories. That was, I think, something we reported on earlier as well, right, Andre?
Yeah, I believe so. It seems
sounds about right.
It rings a bell. Of course, we've done 100 videos since then, but yeah, it seems to ring a bell.
Yeah, pertaining to Ben, he says that the last fight scene was being reworked constantly, and he doesn't think anyone knows for sure what was supposed to happen to him. He says if anyone was going to drop facts about it, it'll be Terry.
Was he supposed to die? Was he supposed to die? I don't know.
Kylo Ben has 0 lines in that last scene.
Yeah,
he made out with Ray.
Yeah,
I think that's a reason for that.
I want to see Drunk History, but I want to see Drunk History with someone trying to retell the Rise of Skywalker, because that would be a lot more interesting.
You don't know what the fuck was going on in this thing. This is people throwing lightsabers everywhere. Fucking Luke's a ghost.
What a missed opportunity. It was like one thing I was looking for.
Why is Han Solo here?
I was looking forward to before TLJ was like, okay, explain to me the Knights of Ren, because that sounded cool.
Well, yeah, that's what I thought the whole thing was in The Last Jedi had very little to do so much with Luke, oh, I sense he's bad. It was more like, oh, I kind of got the feeling that the Knights of Ren kind of sucked Ben into their little cult thing, and they took out the Jedi.
Or they were
actually explain Knights of Ren in the comic book.
Oh, so
I don't do homework though.
Oh wait, Uche did homework.
DLC.
Yeah, he ends up killing. He's getting chased after he destroys the temple by surviving Padawans, basically, and he runs in. He kills them and then runs into the Knights of Ren right after he gets done battling them. He kicks it with the Knights of Ren for a little bit, then he ends up killing the leader in a one-on-one match, and he becomes Ren.
Knights of Ren, like Ren from Ren and Stimpy. You idiot!
That might as well be. Other stuff, both Daisy and Adam did almost all their own stunts, bar the impact into things shots. All the stunt people were very proud of how dedicated they were. This makes sense if this is coming from a stunt person. So, okay. He says Adam is extremely dedicated to his craft and likely won't talk about Rise of Skywalker to media, but Oscar and John are very glad to be out of the studio imposed limitations in the constant tug of war. Now, this makes sense. All that, everything there, I've seen proof of all that. So I believe this because Adam Driver, he gets pissed off about the silliest little shit when it comes to acting. And both, we already know John Boyega and Oscar Isaacs have already said they're glad to be out from under this Star Wars thing in a lot of ways.
John's going to be our hero in about 5. He ain't going to be able to hold it in. John's going to let us know at some point in the next couple of years what happened.
Well, he has been a little here and there.
Yeah, he's not going to hold it in.
Well, and Oscar Isaac,
contract though.
Yeah, and Oscar Isaac just said something last week about it too, wasn't it? Just last week. So, also what they shot for the first version of the film was about 40% scrapped and reshot. So no original version exists, and we won't get it a la Snyder cut because Disney, unlike Warner Brothers, will never admit they made a mistake with this billion-dollar franchise. Andre, I'm sure you have something to say about that.
Absolutely. I agree. And also, here's the thing to keep in mind. Warner did not admit that they made any mistakes. Warner did not want to release the Snyder Cut. It took the
AT&T.
corporate owner, AT&T, to come in, decide, we're doing this, whether you like it or not, which we know you don't like, and we're also going to give you 2 competing Batman. How you like them apples?
AT&T pulled the ultimate power move on Warner Brothers.
Yes.
Yeah. So we own you guys, right? Yeah. Here's the check. We own you guys. Yeah, we're gonna do Snyder Cut. Yeah.
Right.
Where do you think that Birds of Prey story is coming from? Nobody expected a Birds of Prey
done.
to happen.
Fuck
They're just
Birds of
crying
Prey.
and whining. What they want you to do is get all upset that they're not doing Birds of Prey and see this as some kind of injustice on the women in Hollywood. That's why this story's out there.
I'm pretty happy with AT&T right now. I honestly thought it was going to be a disaster for everything in the DC catalog when AT&T bought them.
I mean,
AT&T was like, AT&T just looked at it and said, "Sure, we got billions of dollars sitting around over here. We're gonna start using them."
Yeah,
I mean, everybody's going Snyder Cut. We're doing Snyder Cut. That's an easy billion.
Right.
Correct me if you think I'm wrong, Andre, but I think that's where this Birds of Prey business is coming from because everybody saw that and they're like, yeah, we kind of figured that. But I think it's this inside push that they're like, oh my God, it's a tragedy. We're not getting this movie. And they're hoping there's some kind of like online push for it.
Nope.
There won't be.
Of course it is. That's exactly what it is. Like they're trying to reach the woke crowd. They're trying to get the same kind of outrage that you got over Gone with the Wind. They're desperately trying for that, so they can go back to AT&T and say, "See, we know what we're doing. We're doing the right thing here. Come on, let us continue." But no, that's not going to happen. Not on this one.
Right.
Also, the powers that be have already moved on there. Like both the actress that plays Harley Quinn and the writer of Birds of Prey, they've both moved on to Pirates of the Caribbean.
That's right. There's 3 more tweets, and then we're done with this anyway. He says, and please don't take my comment about Oscar and John to mean they aren't dedicated. They are, but they were all told they'd be on specific kind of project and ended up being dragged through the ringer for months. And I think they're fully within their rights to express their dissatisfaction with Disney outright as they please now that their contracts are up. And y'all don't have to believe me if you don't want to. I have known this man for years and can confirm he has worked on multiple films in the industry firsthand. Just wanted to share my comment or share his comments. That's all. And this last part here, as soon as the NDAs are up, I really believe that we're going to hear a lot of horror stories about the Rise of Skywalker. The movie shot for almost over a year. I think it was, we figured, wasn't it, Andre? By the end, we figured it all out.
They filmed it several times over. And in total, probably they spent close to a year filming it. I don't think that that anyone in the cast are going to go out and say with their names, this is what happened. But what I do think is going to happen is that the likes of the Variety and Hollywood Explorer are going to talk with those actors, and they're not going to reveal who they were, but they're still going to relay the story without mentioning any names. That I absolutely think is going to happen over the course of the next year. I think it's going to go faster than we think.
And I want to get everybody else's take, but I really want to get Andre's here before he had to go because I know he's getting low on time here. And we do have almost 800 of you watching out there. If you could please hit that like and share button if you haven't already, that would be wonderful. But yeah, so Mecca, what's your take on this whole leak of this whole spewing of this guy's
a lot of it makes a lot of sense. There's always, anytime we do, any of us on YouTube, we'll all get sources, and some of them are the same source, some of them aren't. And every single time we'll always have something that overlaps. And this is just kind of one more piece to the puzzle where it just seems like it's overlapping just again. And I'm wondering if this isn't just to kind of vindicate some of us for some of this stuff. And I love the fact that Scott Mendelsohn's tweeting out this, because it really seems like he's kind of like acknowledging that, yeah, I think this might be real, without actually acknowledging it might be real, just for him to retweet it out of nowhere.
You know what this looks like to me for Scotty? This looks like him being able to say to JJ, I'm sorry I didn't like your movie.
Possibly.
Well, look at how it's worded. I mean, he says right off the bat, oh, I love JJ's work and blah, 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 blah. You know, and like, I mean, I've heard, you know, a lot of people, you know, and I have to even remind people like Doomcock of this too, why, you know, because they'll say, I don't understand why J.J. Abrams, this is why J.J. Abrams keeps making movies. He makes movies that the studio wants, they make money, and I've never heard as far as like people like complaining about working for him like I have certain other directors and stuff. So he probably does run a fairly decent ship as far as like actually working for J.J. Abrams. Now, just because he doesn't make decent shit that we enjoy doesn't mean that he probably isn't a good boss as far as that goes. I mean, I don't know if you want to comment on that, Andre, being a boss yourself.
He's the perfect studio director. That's the most important thing, because basically for the studio, they don't really care about how he is as a boss. Or as a manager of people. They are much more interested in the relationship where they are the boss and
right,
the employee, and it is in that relationship that he excels, which is part of the reason why he's so popular.
But what I was getting at though is like with the leaks we had right after the movie came out that kind of line up with this. And we all were saying they came out of JJ's camp trying to paint JJ in a positive light. I mean, if you take these more independently, coming from a stunt person, I'm saying it because, okay, it makes everything a little bit more believable because I can see JJ as far as like from the crew's point of view and all the people working on the film and stuff from his point of view. Everybody always goes out of their way to praise JJ and as far as working for him and stuff. So to me, it's just more of a confirmation that this lines up with what we heard back in, what was it, January? I think it was when that popped out.
Yeah, December, January, thereabouts.
So, I mean, I'm not trying to say, oh, JJ's this great guy to work for. What I'm saying is this helps confirm what we've heard.
Yeah, that it does. Absolutely. In every way.
And what do you think about it, Steven, as far as like this whole thing?
I think justice for John. He was done wrong. Finn should have been an awesome character. I can't wait for him to speak out about this. I don't think it's going to be too long. And if it's going to come out of a leak or an unnamed source as far as, you know, his telling or his aspect of what's going on, I can't wait. Can't wait to hear it. I hope John does it himself. I hope he can't keep it in. A lot of this we've heard in bits and pieces already, you know, before the movie even came out. So, I mean, it's just more confirmation that there was a lot more chaos and, you know, reshoots and everything that we've already pretty much understood was the fact of the matter before, you know, we heard, again, a reiteration of some of the things that some of our sources have told us. And so, yeah, no, I just can't wait for the actors to be able to speak or us to hear to something from someone like Oscar. I'm hoping John. I like John. He's a loudmouth. To talk about their experiences and get, you know, a better idea of what exactly happened.
Well, and some of this almost kind of helps us confirm some, or not confirm, but at least add more credence to some of the recent reporting that Doomcock and we've been doing, right, Andre, as far as like KK not being as part of the pudding in the end as she would like to be, because it sounds like all the demands were coming from Bob, according to this.
Yeah, and that's basically what we reported as well. And also what Bob Iger himself said back in the fall of 2018, that where Star Wars is concerned, the buck stops with him. And that instantly, and he's told that to the Hollywood Reporter. It's basically there, he, for all intents and purposes, announced that Kathleen Kennedy is in the same position, but she no longer holds the same power.
That's
and,
right.
You know, and again, we have the problem of people in creative positions like Bob Iger who are corporate. This is someone who, he may have seen Star Wars, but he doesn't love it. He doesn't have an appreciation for it. He doesn't understand it. And so, yeah, again, where you had Kathleen Kennedy, who definitely had an agenda when she began, when she took over as the head of Lucasfilm. And then you have Bob Iger coming in and trying to fix a problem. You know, basically, trying to fix something he doesn't understand. So, I mean, it was just doomed to fail from the beginning with someone like Kennedy in charge who didn't really understand the vision, the passion of the fandom, the lore itself, or any of these characters. So we got this mishmash Rise of Skywalker, which was just, was better than TLJ, but it wasn't good.
Mm-hmm. Uche, what's your thoughts on all this?
I mean, honestly, man, all the things we've heard over the past year and change about what was going on with the movie, I think it just shows once again, you now have a second scenario where, studios interference has turned a movie that initially had a vision into a complete Frankenstein. And that's what happened with Rise of Skywalker. There's not really any vision behind the movie. There's no real direction it's going in, just played on the same old beats that you come to expect after decades of seeing a storyline play out through Star Wars. They just rehashed all of those beats that they knew that we loved from those movies, and tried to play it into this movie. And you got the same kind of result, pretty much from the consensus of the fans. It just wasn't anything that is fit to hold the title that it bears. I mean, it's a Star Wars movie. You kind of expect different things. I mean, yeah, there's always going to be different perspectives from the fans, but generally, given time, a lot of the movies in the original trilogy and the prequels, have their place in everybody's hearts. But with the sequel trilogy, you thought there was going to be vision, and then it just derailed after the first movie. So there was really nothing to grasp onto. And, it's the same thing that happened with Batman v Superman to an extent, and definitely with Justice League. You had a vision that set out, and you messed with that vision, and you created a movie that, when it came out in theaters, a lot of people couldn't get behind because they were confused. They didn't really make sense what they were watching. Right. You get the Ultimate Edition, and you're like, well, why the hell didn't they release this in the theaters? This is actually coherent.
Amen.
And then Justice League, you just knew that things were rolling off the rails in Justice League from the moment that you kind of got a feel for what the execs at WB were feeling because of their meddling with BVS. And once they got the opportunity, they got rid of Zack Snyder, took advantage of a situation where he was vulnerable, and put in somebody who just completely hacked a director's years of work into bits and pieces and stuck in his own ridiculous storytelling style. Was disgusting.
Yeah.
Well said. Rob's sleeping.
No, I'm here. The mic was muted. So
I know.
When have you ever known me to be at a loss for words? So,
fired.
Here's the thing.
You're unfired. I need you. Come here. I need you.
Tom's like Cosmo Q Space Lee. He fires me every episode.
I try to.
Yeah.
Jetson, you're fired.
Yeah. To Kathleen Kennedy, it's about the message. Bob Iger doesn't see film; he sees product. And J.J. Abrams is the guy to give you just enough to give you sort of that satisfaction after you go to Burger King, but it's not going to stay with you. That's the thing. I'm trying to think of the right words here. But it's not surprising that this crew would make a mess out of Star Wars. It really isn't. I mean, nobody really has any sense of direction. Everybody's fighting over for the they're all rats fighting over the cheese.
Right.
Yeah, there's no direction, there's no vision. JJ, say what you want. Okay, JJ Abrams, he's a good writer. JJ Abrams is not a visionary. You need someone with a visionary. Peter Jackson had a vision for Lord of the Rings. George had a vision for the original Star Wars. Kevin Feige has vision out the wazoo. Star Wars needs a visionary. Who can you point to that would do a good job with something like this? I can't think of any names off the top of my head. And don't say Christopher Nolan. Because everyone's Christopher Nolan. I want to see Christopher Nolan make a Star
It
Wars.
wouldn't even touch Star Wars.
Shut up, Christopher Nolan.
Well, the problem is that Kennedy and Control this didn't have any respect at all for what came before. Is what the problem is. You could have taken the EU and made it Legends, but you could have taken some of it and used it. And
Kennedy said she said, I'll get my way. Allegedly, she said, I will get my way or I will burn this silliness to the ground. Those were supposedly her exact words. I will burn this silliness. Silliness. That's the level of contempt she holds for Star Wars, apparently.
Well,
Speaking of silliness,
people, those people.
I was just gonna say, I think speaking of silliness, I think Andre's had enough of our silliness for one night.
Night is indeed the word because it's almost morning.
Yeah, it's almost morning there.
Yeah.
Good morning. Good morning.
So yeah, gentlemen, I will, gentlemen and ladies, or other ladies and gentlemen, I will take my leave. But thanks for having me. It's been an honor and privilege to join you, and thanks to everyone in the chat. And yeah, take care. We'll speak soon.
Well, it's your channel, so
that's right.
All right.
Take care.
Good night, Andre.
Well, still, thanks for having me on the High Council. All right, take care, everyone. Bye.
Of course, anytime.
Later.
I was half expecting him to say gentlemen and Rob.
Speaking of Rob, do you remember where we left off on Super Chats here?
No.
Mark C sent $5, said Jude Law needs to lose a hand to play Captain Hook. Call Amber Heard. I hear she's good with a blade. Yeah, that was pretty good, though.
That was pretty good.
Ghost 620. Does Andre have his own channel? This is Andre's channel.
Yeah, we're just renting it for the night. He had to go to bed because he's got to be up in like a couple hours for work. Seriously,
that's crazy.
Jeffrey Turner sent $2. Says, "Congrats, Tom, for hosting the High Council, and welcome Uche." Well, welcome Uche, and thank you. It's been a bit unnerving. I'm trying to keep up with everything here. I understand what Jeff goes through on a weekly basis now.
Why I got to you? No, I mean.
Well, now I see why you appreciate the help when you get it.
Oh yeah.
Dark King 616 sends an Australian $5 super chat. Rob,
Australian super chat.
For true intersectionality. The next Wonder Woman World War II movie, I thought I said Wonder Woman for a second. That's how off of things I am right now. Movie must cast real Nazis for the German side. Imagine that casting call.
That's man in Hollywood right now.
Yeah, it gets to a point where it's like, where's the absurdity come in? You know, like how far till
calling all white supremacists.
Freddy must be played by a child molester / child murderer who is burned to a crisp now. So, and Jason must be a zombie. So not one of the members of The Walking Dead. Don't bother trying out for the part.
Deadite, not zombie.
I know, Deadite. You're correct. That is correct. Moving on. Swinging Cod sends $5. Rob.
Swing Cod $5. Swing Cod $5. Who cares? I'm done with the NFL. As soon as my team ceases to exist, you're a Raider fan or a Redskin fan? Who's he a fan of?
I'm not sure, but he's got hashtag HTTR there.
The Raiders.
Yeah.
I saw the stadium actually.
Sports ball.
Yeah, they're building in Vegas for it. I tell you, Vegas is rolling out the red carpet for the Raiders, though.
Look,
they can make it work there. Good luck to them.
Yeah, I've always liked
I could never play for the Raiders in Vegas because I would just live in the casino.
Right. Oh, I can't wait to see what the Vegas.
Where's Uche? We got practice. It's still at the Cosmo.
I'm up 4,500. Shut up.
That's hilarious. All right, next one, Rob. You got it?
What do we got here? Hold on. Oh, Diego Flores has got 5 Peruvian sols. Wait, Uche is the same Uche who played for the Cowboys? My mind is blown. I feel stupid for not making the connection.
It is I.
It is he.
Cornholio.
If Mike Judge is listening, you totally have to do an episode when the new Beavis and Butthead, where the whole episode is Beavis is pissed because Butthead keeps canceling him. He's like, "You're canceled, Beavis."
Quit canceling me.
You're canceled. Nobody's gonna listen to you anymore.
Shut up. I'm not canceled.
Boys, I think it's time for you to learn about cancel culture.
You're canceled. I canceled you. That's gonna be hilarious.
Oh, I'm afraid it's not that simple, Butthead. Oh.
All right.
Greg Kirby, $2 Canadian. Brie Larson had an as stunt double. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
I would rather see Az do that.
Stunt double that kept coming back.
I'm getting some alarming news here from this next super chat. I hope this isn't true.
Uh-oh.
Couch Doodle's channel seems to be gone. I thought his stream got taken down, but his whole channel's been nuked.
Let me see. Hold on.
I hope that's not true. If it is, if he's out there, tell him to get in here and tell us what's going on, because I'm friends with him.
His it's showing up on my live streams thing here. Hold on. Let me take a look here.
Yeah, because I mean, if that's the case, yes, definitely. I did hear that his stream went down. I asked what he was talking about, but I didn't get to catch the answer. So
this account, oh boy, this account has been terminated due to multiple or severe violations of YouTube's policy on nudity and or sexual content.
What?
What?
You gotta be fucking kidding me. Yo, if anybody, shit. No way. I'm gonna send this to Fraga if he's listening. I doubt he's listening, but
what the hell?
Get in here and tell us what the fuck's going on.
What's his Twitter handle? What's his Twitter handle? What's his Twitter?
I got him. Don't worry about it.
Okay, but I just want to see what he has to say about it.
No, I'll get him. I'll get him if he's around. He might be like talk. He might be already somewhere else. Like,
did he criticize Larson?
That's what I want to find out. What the fuck what was going on, man? That's bullshit. Yeah, I got him. His Couch Doodles on Twitter.
Okay.
I sent him the thing.
What the hell, man?
I don't know. Guess we'll find out.
Yo, Couch Doodles. Let me see what he has to say here.
Couch Doodles, no!
That's bullshit, man. What the fuck?
YouTube fixed this. Someone has
Oh,
inappropriate.
no, Bad Bunny's cursing me. They're saying I'm next. What did I do? Well, if my channel gets nukes next, then you guys have to go and support me on Patreon.
Mike,
I mean,
and Twitch.
People are probably flagging him because of his art or something. I'm imagining.
Yeah,
I don't know what I do though that gets flagged.
Someone inappropriately flagged the channel and got it taken down. Please review and bring it back online. Thanks.
Wow. I mean, something like that just happened to DJ Scandalous, man. He lost his channel, but thankfully he got it back. And YouTube didn't even tell him why.
False flagged for nudity. Trying to find his channel, but nothing's coming up. Yeah. Well, you know what? There's a pair of buttocks on one of the videos, but it's a thong.
But a butt though. A butt. Come on.
The thumbnails, the preview picture is a thong. I'm like, that's hardly video unavailable. No associated with terminating in there.
Yeah, a thong is art. That's art.
This is what I'm talking about when I do Mead Radio. You get enough Karens who flag your stream, it will go down. Right. That's what I'm saying. I mean, I
need to speak to your manager. Your manager.
It'd be great if you had like a regular, like, midnight my time sort of stream. Doing that, like just a regular.
I'm thinking about it. They're doing a different channel altogether. Yeah,
like a 1 a.m. sort of stream. Your time
mix.
I'm kind of getting to that point. I don't know if I want to do a scheduled time code though, because that's where I invite them to just come in and barrage me.
That's true.
And I have a feeling I've narrowed it down to at least a couple people I have an idea who might be responsible or behind it. So
because there's just the bots that like will detect it, I think.
Well, I get the regular one, and all they do is just claim it.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've certain ones I can understand maybe because it seems like foreign bands, like if you're hitting the YouTube over in some other country where they have a harsher deal, like it'll flat out tell me I'm being blocked in certain countries.
Right.
Like that I understand. But then like all of a sudden I'll go down, but then I'll go right back up. So it's like that, and it's always random. There's never any kind of rhyme or reason to it. And there's never been a time where it's been the same song twice. You know what I'm saying? Like it never, it's just a weird thing. I don't want to get into it right now, but yeah, we're caught up on super chats, right, Rob?
Looks like it.
Okay. Yeah. He's probably busy. I'm sure he's dealing with all this shit going on right now, but if anybody knows what he's doing right now, if he's not on a stream already, just let him know that I sent him the link and he can hop on and let us know what's going on. That's crazy, man. But speaking of YouTube and how they work, is it time to drop the taco?
I don't know.
I know what I'm going to drop.
We're going to.
The Overlord.
Greetings. How y'all doing?
Hail, Lord Doomcock.
Hail. Good to see you guys. How are you?
Welcome to the High Council, sir. How are you doing?
Well,
Rob,
hanging in.
Put the kazoo down, Rob. You're going to scare him off. He just got in here. Jesus.
Oh, my goodness.
Cock.
Hail.
Hail, Doomcock. I don't know if you've met everybody here, but Uche Nwanere, Rob, of course, you know, Mecca and Steven, but hail, how are you doing?
Mecca, Steven, Robot Shlomo, and of course, Tom. Good to meet you guys, see you guys, be with you guys, whatever the case may be.
Man.
We were actually
pleasure to meet
just talking about the recent deal that come out that you just did a video on yourself. Hashtag Doomcock was right.
That's right. Yeah, those are interesting little tidbits.
So yeah, would you feel when you or what was your first reaction when you saw those and you're like, huh, interesting?
Yeah, just felt like, well, that makes sense. I mean, that's totally consistent with what I've understood about the thing. So, makes sense to me.
Other than that, how you been, man? It's been a long time since we've had you on.
Yeah, just busy, tired, overwhelmed. Can't get my shit done. It's just endless, and kind of grinds you down after a while, you know.
Yeah, man, I know that life.
Yeah.
And what's your reaction to BreeTube?
I haven't even looked. I haven't had a chance to even look at see what she's doing or why she's on YouTube or what the reaction is to her. I have no idea. I don't know what the hell she thinks she's doing. She's bored. I don't know.
Dark King wants to. You could watch this Robot Heads video. That's true. Dark King asks, "Is there a Doom Hen as well?"
No.
The answer is no.
That's a good one. That's a good one, though.
Well, actually, we'd surmise that this is an effort by YouTube to counter the whole Joe Rogan leaving.
Oh, wow. Well, she is a poor substitute for Joe Rogan, for God's sake. Jesus Christ. It's not even close.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Joe.
Go ahead.
Look, I'd put on Joe like every other damn day, you know, when I'm doing something, when I was up the background noise, or an interview that he's having that I'm interested in. You know, I watch the clips, I'll watch the entire live streams. I can't see myself doing that with Bree.
No.
I wonder if she's ever gonna live stream.
Oh God, no. Her already filmed in advance.
Did you notice how many changes of wardrobe changes she had? I mean, she had a big bulky sweater on at one point.
Well,
so this has been a long time planning.
No, that's just because they clipped her whole. They clipped this trailer, this sort of infomercial for her upcoming season of talking.
That's what I think too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we're just seeing a bunch of previews of what's to come.
Yeah.
But Greg Kirby sent in a Canadian $2, and he says, "Hail Doomcock."
Hail Greg. Thank you, Greg Kirby.
That he gets the Canadian cuckoo.
I like your little picture there.
It's funny. Just before you come in, we were talking about Beavis and Butthead, actually.
Oh yeah, God, they're great, aren't they? They're
Yeah,
coming back allegedly, but
yeah, well, yeah. Well, actually, we reported on it about a year and a half ago about that, but no, they're talking about now on Comedy Central. But I said if Mike is listening, I said I had an idea for an episode. Beavis keeps canceling, or Butthead keeps canceling Beavis, and Beavis gets pissed about it. He's like, "You're canceled." No, I'm not. Quit canceling me. No.
Boys,
Like,
boys, I don't think you understand how cancel culture works.
yes, I do. Beavis is canceled. Nobody's gonna listen to him anymore.
Funny fact: King of the Hill took place in the town that I grew up in.
Oh, really?
Garland, Texas.
Wow.
Awesome. That's amazing.
How awesome, man. Strickland
Cool.
propane.
And propane accessories. Matt G sent $2 and says we need a Knights of Harvey.
Oh man.
That would be
I
bad.
think they have them, but they're underground, you know. They're underground and they don't reveal themselves, you know, like the Knights of Ren that in those rumors, you know.
Right?
Like they were gonna have backstories and everything, and just kind of sort of forgot about those backstories.
Forgot about a lot of things in that those movies.
I just got to tell Uche, I used to work for a propane company. You know how many times I heard that joke?
What?
No,
How many?
Oh God, at least once, at least about 10 or 12 times a day. I sell propane accessories. Yeah.
You can't do it, Rob. Don't ever do that again in front of Doomcock.
Well, what the hell else are you gonna do? You know,
He's
you're
embarrassing
stacking
me.
propane.
He's embarrassing me.
It's either that or singing songs of oppression.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Your regulator. Up $4.95 Australian. Raging Rhino.
He sent us a couple of fist bumps from a pair. Appreciate that. Louis the Plank sends in, says, "Hail the High Council and Doomcock. Do you think Brie Larson's channel is an attempt to make her more likable for the next Captain Marvel movie?" I know my answer to that. Maybe, but it's more so to just look. I guarantee you they said, who's the most popular? Either they went, who's the most popular film star on YouTube right now, talked about what have you, or in the word, or they looked at us specifically as a group like the Phantom Menace and said, what could piss them off more than anything? And basically, Brie checks off every single box they need to basically do every last thing they need to do in this woke culture right now to get every point they want, put Brie out there. That's a win for her. It's a win for YouTube, and it's a loss for us. That's the and which is a win for them.
Oh, it's a win for me. I'm getting a lot of views on videos for it.
Well, there's that aspect of it.
That's good.
There's that aspect of it, and I hope it backfires in their face. I really, truly do. And that's the thing is, it's you guys out there listening are going to make that happen. That's not up to us. You know, that's up to the audience.
Oh yeah, I'd kill to see a stream with Queen Mecca and Brie Larson. That would be the best. That would be the best.
Tom, we need to show Doomcock our little Brie response video. Our little one more time because he has
supposed to use it sparingly though, Rob.
but Doomcock has not seen it yet.
All right, are you watching Doomcock? Just so
yes.
All right, here we go.
Excellent. That's all you need.
So yeah, I don't think it's so much to do with the Captain Marvel movie as it is her public image in general and just YouTube wanting to shove it down our throats, to be honest with you. Dean Heiss sends $5, says, "Hail my Lord Doomcock, nice to see you on the High Council."
Thank you, Dean. It's great to be here. Usually I'm just kind of exhausted after Fridays and Sundays, and I just don't do shit, you know, other than videos and other work, trying to catch up on other work until till the next Thursday or Friday. But pop on and say hi and hang out.
Well, you're getting so much love from the crowd here because Culture Casino says, "Hail my liege, please press the button." I don't think you want that.
Damn it.
Oh, Harvey. I'm not so sure that's a good idea because I don't know if Doomcock's insurance can cover that.
I think all insurance could easily cover it. I mean, you know, it's like Lloyd's of London will be loaded when we go, as the song goes. They won't have to pay anything.
You
know,
you want to get
the song says, you know, Go directly to your respective Valhallas. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Basically, be Harvey's end song there.
I think Harvey would be like a car, or a dog chasing a car if you push the button. He wouldn't know what to do. He'd be so excited.
You're right. You're right.
What, Harvey? Harvey, what would you destroy first?
What would I destroy first? Hollywood. It would be Hollywood.
Good choice.
Yes.
They have it coming.
Yeah, they do. They do.
That is kind of admirable. It almost makes you want to push the button, but it's probably a trick, right?
It's a trick, yeah.
Do it.
He just wants.
Yeah, I've been close enough to Harvey enough times now to learn that he's a trickster.
He is. He really is. He's like a Norse god, but green with no horns, and no Valkyries, no palace. And I suspect his feet probably smell, but I don't know.
Does he have feet?
Oh yeah.
Like standard feet, not like tentacles.
Yeah.
I do. I will admit, I do miss 30-second movie reviews with Harvey Cthulhu.
Well, YouTube really fucked those hard. I mean, boy, oh boy, they just did not like those. Got no views and just nothing. I like them too, but Jesus Christ. Well, we all know how the algorithm punishes you. It giveth and taketh away, and you better stay in your lane, or else, doesn't really reward innovation.
You're the wrong color and you don't have the right thing between your legs. That's why.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Otherwise, they give Brie Larson.
But Brie Larson, I don't think it's a scheme to make her more likable. I think the scheme to make her more likable would be to keep her hidden. I mean, if she was hidden, suddenly people might forget how much she sucks. But putting her out in public view, it's not a sound strategy for endearing her to the public.
Or do what Anna said in her last video and keep her scripted. Don't let her get off the script. Just write her something and then keep her on it.
Yeah.
But then the more she babbles, the more material she gives us.
Well, I mean, that's good for us.
Crap out of her. Oh, she's great.
Good God. I can't imagine.
Christopher Richards. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, she'll never live stream. She never will.
I just wanted to get to these super chats here.
Well, okay. After a couple super chats, and then I'll see. I'll make this point here that I always make. Christopher, reach show, reach up, reach show. $10 Canadian. And here I thought you would not be able to follow up with the amazing opening good show tonight. You can have all the bananas.
Well, thank you. We win all the monies. We like that. Well, of course, Steven's speech, as he does so well. He is the minister of the fandom menace. He always pumps us up. Mm-hmm. And then the incredible intro done by Culture Casino for the High Council, of course. And and then, of course, having Andre with us for a while and now getting Doomcock to pop in, and Uche, of course, being our guest tonight throughout the night. So that's been great. And who knows who might pop in? You never know.
Christopher, thank you very much. Hail, brother.
Man,
Arthur P.
Awesome.
Sent $2 as well. Says woke culture is the dawn of a new dark age. I mean, that's kind of what we've been. I mean, what do you think, Doomcock? One thing that we've kind of noticed here is we felt like things were kind of on this swing towards another direction, and then everything that kind of just happened recently really just sent us, so far back. I thought between Charlie's Angels and Birds of Prey and Terminator Dark Fate and all that kind of stuff that maybe Hollywood was starting to learn. What did you think?
Oh, I think they are anyway. And I think it's coming. I mean, the realities of this situation in the world, it's just not something they can escape. I mean, I think it's definitely the woke party is over. I think a lot of them just haven't gotten the memo, but it's definitely ending. I think that the contagion that shall not be named on YouTube, coupled with the attendant economic damage, the bad will from fans, and the decline in parks and so on. I mean, it's a desperate time in Hollywood, and I think that essentially those conditions accelerated the evolution of this battle about 5 or 7 years. I mean, it was going to take a while to really bring them to their knees. They're on their knees now. And I think that's why we are seeing movement at Lucasfilm, for example. And I think where Disney where Disney goes, I think the rest of Hollywood will follow.
If I may expound upon that, Tom, if that's all right.
Oh, of course.
You know, you look at the people right now, the very disingenuous people that are basically absconding with ideas that initially were something positive, like the term woke. Originally, that meant looking at history beyond the words of written history. You know, the things that have been jotted down, looking at the time, the eras, the people from those times. Woke was not a bad term. It became a bad term when it was appropriated by people who began to misuse it to push their agendas. Much in the same way that the current movement right now that's peacefully protesting, the people that began that were not trying to do anything bad. They were trying to bring recognition to things that were going on in their own communities. And then it was appropriated by people, a corporate thinking people who now want to just use it to generate money and create chaos. So like, you know, all of this idea is built upon disingenuous people taking things from others that had a positive connotation, positive movement, and using it to create chaos and disorder, to upset the system in order to gain advantage. And that's the biggest problem, you know. So I actually don't use the term woke culture all that too often, because when I grow up, that wasn't a bad term. It's become something bad under the people that have been misusing it or misrepresenting that idea in order to push agendas into things to which they don't have any business. That's my 2 cents.
Yeah. No, I think that's a good take.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with a lot of that. Things get hijacked by the big wave. And when the big wave gets a hold of it, it's going to try and crush everything around it. And, you know, like you talk about things that are going on in society now, a lot of the intentions from people are kind of taken further than necessary by others, and they're hoisted up on pedestals by others when, you know, we haven't got there yet. Let's start with step one,
right,
and then see how things progress. Let's not just start blind firing at everything that we see, because not everything is what you think it is. But a lot of times people can twist it to fit in that box of what they think it is.
Absolutely. And yeah, that's something I've said a lot of things about lately, and I'm not going to get into that right now. But Arthur P says something here I think we all can agree with. Brie is as charismatic as an unflushed toilet.
Uche's going to change that. We're going to send Uche into the Brie Larson channel.
Make sure that
he's
going to take one for the team.
We're going to loosen her up a little bit.
Oh my God. I mean, is she even going to allow comments on her videos? I mean,
they are there, but there's some shenanigans going on already.
Oh, I have the black card.
A lot of
the black card will get me in the comment section. Thought you're inclusive, Brie.
Cash Kester sends $2. Says, "Hail Doomcock in the High Council." Well, hail Cash Kester.
Hail Cash Kester.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, again, it'd be different if Brie was coming out and trying to do this on her own, actually doing the work, like Katie Sackhoff and some of these other YouTubers who are stars who have tried to do YouTube channels now. You know, I mean, they've actually done their own, you know, things. They haven't resolved to getting paid by YouTube and promoting this and that. And what was that, Mecca?
Try to come off a little bit more authentic.
Exactly.
Mean,
well,
that's
the
thing.
Seem
like it's something you actually have been
it
wanting
is the most
to do.
Disingenuous thing I've seen in so long.
Yeah, just nobody's buying it. Only people who are her fans who they know that are going to follow her or buying it.
She needs to get on there and just be like, "Oh my God, my driver took me to the wrong place today," and be like, "Okay, right, that's real Brie. All right." Yeah. Just be real about it. My makeup artist totally screwed up my hair, and I am so upset today. I cannot.
No, Robot had rips the shit out of this, and I wish I could show the video.
Wonderful. His video.
It was good, yeah.
Yeah, he ties into the whole child star crap that we always that we always knew this stuff. Like, this is somebody who grew up in Hollywood who thinks basically their shit doesn't stink in a lot of ways.
And she has lived in privilege as a privileged princess.
Well, that's the thing.
So she thinks that the rest of the country
Yeah.
is just like her.
And I said that I'm like not making an excuse for her, but I think I kind of understand now why her and so many of these women and people in this situation are acting the way they do. Because they're used to getting white privilege. Of course, if you come on fucking YouTube, Brie, we'll pay you and we'll make you automatically checkmarked and all this crap. Well, of course, that's white privilege, or in her eyes, at least, she would see. She's been handed everything in her whole fucking life.
I think wealth privilege is more accurate.
I would say so. I think you're right, and I've made that argument. I think there's more of a class issue than there is a race issue.
Yeah, me too.
And I've had a few personal conversations with people that agree with me that aren't white either, and that's all I'm going to say on that.
I've said there is and you said it too, Tom. There's no more privileged person in the world than a blonde-haired white woman.
Exactly. You tell me. A cop pulls somebody over. It's me, Rob, and Uche, and Mecca, and some blonde, big-tittied woman. Who's going to get fucking the most
bail me out? Bail me out! Let me bail!
Yeah, they ain't gonna give me shit.
Yeah.
I was gonna say there's a spectrum there. It goes from the big titty white woman is getting asked for her phone number and digits. Mecca probably the same thing. Rob and I are getting questioned a little bit, then probably get let go eventually. Not
My
me,
car
probably.
got searched.
Me, I'm in the middle. Yeah, my car probably got searched too. But Uche didn't even have a choice in that matter. He probably got searched right away.
I just put the car in park and got out. Put the keys
Exactly.
on the roof.
Just like,
and
go for it.
There. Yeah, all right, go ahead.
I mean, is it
Sir,
that bad?
do you have
now?
any
I mean,
weapons on
Jesus.
you? No.
And I know you've told me a few stories, so it's like, I mean, I get it.
Yeah, I mean,
But look, man, it's multifaceted. It's layered, man. It's not just a who gets it and who doesn't. Like, there's plenty of people who get treated like shit. There's plenty of people who would never have the same opportunities as somebody like Brie Larson. And I don't think in her situation, I don't think it matters what color the person is. They're not going to get treated like she's going to get treated.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I brought up the other side of this too. I think there's this delusion that it's like, look, the cream always look at you, Uche. You were in the NFL. Look at people like, if I said if America was as racist as the media in these SJW white women with blue hair and whatever now normally are blonde, whatever. Karens, whatever you want to call them. If we believed everything that they say right now, then guess what? Little Richard and fucking Chuck Berry would have never invented rock and roll. Okay, Michael Jackson wouldn't have been in the #1 star for almost 2 damn decades. People like Whitney Houston wouldn't have been the huge artist she was at the time, and actress. And then look at people like Will Smith, Eddie Murphy, Bill Cosby. All three of those were people that were #1.
Maybe not say Bill Cosby.
I don't care. It still counts. You know what? It still counts because you know what? He had the #1 TV show in the 80s. Yeah. Nobody had a bigger show.
But he was a bloody hypocrite the whole time.
Yeah. Wasn't it 90s?
No,
it was throughout the 80s into
Bill
the 90s.
Cosby, they knew Bill Cosby's thing going back.
Well, yeah, but that
years.
aside, I'm just talking about the whole simple fact of the matter here is if America was that racist, then people would not accept it. That's my point.
There's also an upside kind of to things because I live I'm right next to Wilmington, Delaware, very, very mixed neighborhood. I haven't seen people been as nice to each other in the last couple of months than I have in the last couple of months. Everyone's treated each other like just a little bit extra. At least that's my experience in my neighborhood, and we've got all different types.
Well, and I've never talked about this shit so much as I have in the last couple of years because of this crap. Like, it never was a thing before. It wasn't my black friend. It wasn't my gay friend. It wasn't my lesbian friend. It wasn't my whatever friend. It was just my friend before that. Now, all of a sudden, everybody's got to have a fucking label, and I hate it. And most of them are so sick and tired of this label business. It's like, I've said it before. I've talked to so many people, and they've said the same kind of shit, where it's like fought for years and years and years to shake these labels for all these kids nowadays to just say, here, look at my label. It's like the label is all that matters.
Yeah. It's to create division. And this is something that has been promoted from the politicians. Really, is where it comes from. I'm not going to get into politics, but the politicians to their allies in the entertainment communities and different communities. Pushing a certain narrative because they want to get who they want.
Bree's a big part of this.
Yeah,
she says right in her video she's going to talk about racial rhetoric and all that kind of stuff.
Right,
yeah,
because that's what they're pressing. And this is why we have bad Star Trek and bad Star Wars. This is why we have things that used to unify people, gaming communities, comics communities, things that used to unify people from different persuasions that are now being used to create division and hate. And that's why I'm writing these volumes. That's why I'm Fandom Menace. That's why I'm doing what I do, because I want to fight this part of the culture war, something that geekdom, something that used to bring us together. Entertainments. Yeah, we've always had infighting, we've always had heated discussions, but it was always about the material itself, the fandoms themselves, what within the fandoms themselves. And now we've got people within the fandoms completely divided. Just because of political lines, and it's disgusting. It's all about division. It's all about creating discourse. It's not about unifying anyone. Our escapism is being used to bludgeon people away from one another, and it's disgusting. And Brie Larson is a part of that.
And I did hear about Culture Casino just sent a super chat about this too. I want to say first, thank you, Matt G, for the Doomacorn. Appreciate that. Culture Casino, yes, I did talk to Couch Doodles. His channel he's got a new channel up, but he's also appealing the other one. So I don't know if he's going to pop in or not. But so hopefully he gets that all worked out. That is ridiculousness.
Yeah, that's nuts, man.
And that's the scary part of this whole thing right now is, there's a lot of people in these beliefs and these brainwashed situations. They go after people like us and Fraga and everybody else, and just like it's crazy. Hopefully I'm not losing out on any of these super chats here. They're coming in so fast. Sorry, guys. We got Big Daddy coming in next. Hail Doomcock and the Hail the High Council. Thank you so much, Big Daddy MRI. We appreciate that. Greg Kirby sent a Canadian $2, says for the jiggle cam and Hank's voice.
Boy, that's a weird combination,
isn't it? Yeah. I wonder what Hank would say about the jiggle cam. That's the real question there.
He'd probably go,
that's what I was thinking. I'll tell you what, I've never seen such a...
Can't even see the jiggles though because I'm behind the microphone.
well, that's the
Barely.
proper way to do it. That's just, there's ladybirds out here.
I was going to say something more like that.
Heaven's sakes.
Diego Flores sends the Peruvian 5 souls. Is that what it is? 5 Peruvian souls? Is that how you say it, Rob?
Yes. Peruvian souls, yes.
Tom, you forgot. Doomcock says, fudge that and breaks Uche out and begins League of Fandom Menace. That's awesome. I can see that happening. And then Big Daddy MRI comes back again with another Doomacorn or Derpacorn. And then we got Culture Casino says, Tom, Marty McFly invented rock and roll. I know. Yes, he did. According to Back to the Future lore.
Well, that was cultural appropriation, wasn't it?
Wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yes. But did he, though? Because he, well, I mean...
Well, he ripped off Chuck Berry, and Chuck Berry was in the audience, and it fed
his
him
brother or his cousin or whatever. Yeah.
Chuck, this is Marvin. Your cousin.
That's right.
Yeah. Michael J. Cox, speaking of, sends $10. Says,
Love that.
love this crew, especially agree with Uche and his Last Jedi reaction. That movie started all this. By the way, I'd question Tom and Rob about who this mysterious Andre guy is before I held Uche. Well, of course, we all know who Andre is. But I mean, as far as I think this really started more with Ghostbusters than it did with The Last Jedi. But The Last Jedi was kind of the last straw. What do you think, Doomcock?
What started?
Like the Phantom Menace in general, I think.
I don't know. I think, I think probably with The Last Jedi. I mean, it should have started with The Force Awakens, but I think the first woke SJW bullshit movie was probably Ghostbusters 2016.
Yeah.
I think it was them.
Yeah, unless Uche remembers exactly what he may have been referring to here to his reaction, but yeah.
I think mainly I was talking about the fact that the vision was kind of derailed after Force Awakens. I mean, there was something that they were trying to start with, and they kind of, they kind of washed over some of the more obvious themes that they used in Last Jedi. But when that movie came out, it was such a shock to people's systems because it was like, this doesn't even match up with anything we just watched, 2 years ago. What is this? And then you're just slapping us across the face. You got the purple haired lady walking around, just freaking nut stomping every guy she walked past. and then you got, Finn, who we thought Finn was going to be used in some kind of respectable manner. But he ends up getting sexually harassed at the end of the movie for no reason. He didn't ask for that kiss. He's looking at her like, what the hell is this?
Finn was supposed to be a Jedi, man.
He's like, man, I want that Ray booty. I don't want this. What is this?
Right.
Angelica DeLang sends an Australian $2, says, why can't we all identify as human? Well, that's what Bree is trying to do, She wants to be people.
People. And I just play people. I didn't play Captain Marvel because I wanted to be a hero. I just wanted to be a person.
I just wanted to be a person.
Speaking people, how cute.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
It is, isn't it?
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Especially cheap cocaine, but anyway.
We should. I mean, yes, I think we all should have that perspective. We identify as human, but there's also something to be said for being proud of your regional cultures, who you are, where your ancestors came from. Depending, I guess, on who you are, but there's something to be said for that. But at the end of the day, we are all just human. Hail, sister.
Haven't you got any goddamn feelings about that?
Haven't you got any goddamn feelings about that?
Yeah. Are we going to have dueling Shatners?
Nah, you can win.
No, I'll do old Shatner. You do young Shatner.
What?
Okay.
I think I need.
They'll never make me bend the knee.
Ooh, that was a pretty good one.
Give them what they want. I am part of the fandom.
Priceline.com. Best place to get deals. And check out WilliamShatner.com.
Will Shatner watched my last video. I'm sorry, I'm just going to take a minute.
He did, and he retweeted it, didn't he? Or at least
so he
retweeted it.
He couldn't retweet my We Do Not Stand video, but he did retweet the first comment on it, and he said Fandom Menace with a question mark, a couple faces on it, and then he said, I think I'm going to take some of these old DVDs and put them in the store. And he was talking about the clips that I used in my video. That John Talks, excuse me. He put it together, put in that video. So I just thought that was the coolest thing. I sent it to my dad because he's a Trekkie. I was like, Dad, William Shatner saw my video. I just thought that was awesome. I love Bill. Yeah, man. I remember when we had that Unblock Doomcock campaign with Will Shatner.
That was amazing.
We raised $1,000 in 45 minutes.
That was incredible. I was amazed. It was a hell of a thing. Incredible. Never forget that.
No, man. So we have some of the coolest memories in the Fandom Menace. Hail all you people in the chat, because I was born in that chat with you guys watching the High Council, and I can tell you, since I have had the blessing of opportunity to get to know some of these people, that oh God, I don't even know what to say. I'm so thankful for all these wonderful people that have stood up for us, that have been our voices for our voices against those in the entertainment industry misusing these properties that we love to espouse their rhetoric and bullshit. All the people up here with me have stood up for us, and every person in this chat. And oh my God, I'm sorry, I'm trying to go down that route. I just want to say hail the Fandom Menace, hail the chat, hail my brothers and sisters. Keep fighting the good fight.
Oh Lord,
outstanding. Yes,
Rob, I love you, but sometimes
what?
I love Rob too.
Rob's awesome, man.
Yeah, man.
You're fired. You're unfired. I need you. Come here.
Anyway. Somebody farted, says Greg Kirby. I didn't know that.
That was me.
We had a super chat here from Lorena Creel. Thank you so much for hopping in. Hi to everybody on the panel. Excellent discussion. You're supposed to have a wrench. I'm gonna have to chew Andre out. He missed
No
a wrench.
wrench?
He
Heavens.
missed a wrench.
Please go check out Lorena Creole's channel. She is a real good up and coming creator.
Hopefully Tommy got his, because I know he's been here all night trying to mod for me. And I did share the link for your book there a little earlier in the chat too, by the way, for those.
I appreciate that. I will
check that
for
out.
myself for advertising at any point in time. Thank you.
And Doomcock, you're going to be writing a chapter for the next one, aren't you? Or which one is it?
Well, I'm not writing one. I think he's going to.
The Phantom Menace Volume 2, yes, it's going to be a chapter. It's going to be Doomcock's chapter on Star Trek Disgrace.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
And it is taken from videos that he has put out. They are all his words. I'm just tailoring them together for a chapter. Doomcock allowed me to do that. And honestly, man, Doomcock didn't know me from anybody when he gave me the okay for that. We're talking about a year ago. So, thank you for taking a chance with me, brother. I really appreciate that.
You are absolutely welcome.
But that chapter is going to be all about him. Going to have a chapter about the Gospel according to Mark with a C, Mecha Random 42. I've also got words in there from Stephanie Janicek, Smugglers Cantina, Kiri Howard. I'm looking forward to putting out Volume 2. It's going to be great. John Talks is writing the forward. It's going to be a good book. It's going to be a good exposition and celebration of the creation of our Fandom Menace community.
Hell.
Fantastic.
Jeffrey Turner sends in $2, says, blam! Oh man, I shot Marvin in the face. That's from Pulp Fiction. I love that movie.
That was an excellent movie.
It's a great movie. Couldn't be made today, probably.
Oh no.
Hell no, it couldn't be.
Well, that same director that we were talking about earlier went after Tarantino as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, of course, because he frivolously uses the N-word, so that's problematic.
He made Django. I'll let it pass.
Django is one of my favorites.
See, now that's the one that probably has it in it the most of all his movies. Because I actually said that on Twitter. I'm like, seriously, because I loved Quentin Tarantino. He's one of my favorite directors of all time. I can't think of one thing he's done that I didn't like. And I said, has he made one movie that didn't have it in it? And a few people I know come up with a few of them, and that he hasn't. I'm like, all right. So, like, the worst one, of course, was Django at that point. He's really only had like 4 movies that have it in it, I guess.
There is an interview out there. I can't think of it off the top of my head, where he changes his speech pattern. He's like he's having an interview with a group of people, and he changes from how Tarantino normally talks to like this kind of weird white jive. Like, I got to get that clip and send it to you. It is so uncomfortable to watch.
I've probably seen it.
It's horrible.
Tarantino thinks he has a card.
I mean, look, he sampled the Tupac track and put it in Django. That kind of sealed the deal for me. I was like, yeah,
he just flat out said,
throw it out there as much as you want. I don't care. You're making good movies.
I was gonna say, he's flat out said he's evidently been told by enough black guys in his life or whatever that he's got to pass. So he's flat out said that. So
I mean, I believe it. I believe it. I believe it because I mean, you look at his movies. He does always kind of give like. He puts a good vibe in his black characters in his movies. It's always a good little vibe, and it's kind of like a real vibe with them. So that's one of the things I've always kind of like noticed it, but not noticed it in his movies. He always treats the characters with respect in the film.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah. Well, and especially, I mean, look at the way, I mean, if it wasn't for him, I don't think Samuel Jackson would be the huge star he is today. Because
could you imagine without Quentin Tarantino, what Samuel would not be the guy he is? That's mainly attributed to Quentin Tarantino.
And Jules is kind of the hero of that movie if you stop and look at it as a whole. I mean, he's the only good character in the whole movie who doesn't do anything bad, really. In the end, he's like making right choices. And we also have Anna, that Star Wars girl. How are you?
Hello.
What's up? Uche starts to roll. We can hear it.
Hello. You guys are talking about Tarantino. That's my thing.
And I started watching again Once Upon a Time in Hollywood last night, but I had to go to bed. I'm like, I got to finish this tomorrow.
The first time I saw that movie, it really, the ending like totally took me off guard. I was like, oh, okay, shit.
I loved the ending. Did you guys watch the extended cut of The Hateful Eight on?
No, I need to.
Yeah, it's good. I love it.
Good. It's so much better than the original, like theatrical release.
And Rob's just like, yeah, I don't care. I don't like Tarantino.
I haven't seen any of his
I love
movies in like
Tarantino.
forever, but yeah.
Every time I
never
see
watched
a
anything.
Tarantino movie, come on, I watch it.
I haven't seen any movies. So.
You'd probably love Hateful Eight.
You
Rob.
probably like Reservoir Dogs.
Hateful
Well,
Eight.
Hateful Eight is just Reservoir Dogs as a western.
Yeah.
I watched part of Kill Bill, and I like halfway through I said to myself, why am I watching this? I've seen enough 70s kung fu movies where I don't have to watch a bad imitation of one.
Wiggle your
You
big
just
toe.
don't get it.
Yeah, salty.
What is that?
It's a quote. I honestly like the second one better than the first one.
Yes.
Like
In
his,
ways, yes.
his monologue at the end where he's talking about Superman, I'm like, this is fantastic.
Oh, I love that one. Thank you.
I
for
like
coming
the
in.
first one better. The first
I'm
Kill Bill.
watching like Hail.
I like the first Kill Bill the best. I thought that was incredible. It was amazing. The second one, I had a problem with her being so stupid as to just blunder into Billy's trailer and get shot like that. Right. I mean, he was just walking towards his damn trailer. I mean, she could have ambushed him anytime. There's all sorts of much better ways that she could have dealt with that. It was silly, and then she winds up buried alive. It just seemed out of character with how confident she had been throughout the first movie. You know,
I agree with you to a point, but here's the way I see it, Doomcock. And again, I'm not trying to change your mind or anything like that, but the way I always saw it was the first movie was her telling us the story, and it's through her. It's like her version, and it's like the Superwoman version. So then by the time we get to part 2, it's a Clint Eastwood movie, and she's Clint Eastwood. So we're seeing the real person. Because like, notice how she's like superhuman powered in the first movie, and then when you get to the second movie, like she's a real person, and like everything is happening in real time as opposed to being a flashback. Again, this is just my take on it. I could be completely
that's interesting.
wrong, but you know what I mean? Like, because like especially in like the anime sense, like you get the whole like a lot of the wire fu and all that kind of stuff in that movie, as opposed to when you get to the second film, it's a straight up like Western. And that's where I really question if Tarantino really didn't want to do this as 2 movies to begin with. Because he always says it's been 1 movie and then split into 2. But it's like, dude, this feels like 2 movies on purpose. Like for a big reason. And that's the way I always took it. And that movie, like I watched those movies so many fucking times. I love them. So yeah, I mean, I have a hard time picking one over the other, to be honest with you.
Well, that's fascinating. I like that take, and it's interesting food for thought. Yeah.
All right. In General Genesis, I don't want to lose these super chats here. $10 says, what do you guys think of the West attempt to censor anime, speaking of, since American animation is becoming more and more infected with ideologies instead of entertaining people? And I don't know, I don't watch too much anime, but I do know, like, as far as I was saying before, like, a disclaimer is one step. The next step is to start editing things that are quote unquote problematic. And then the next step after that is what? They actually come into your house and take the movie away from you or something. I mean, that's the thing, is how much power do you give them over your entertainment? That's a thing I have a problem with.
Well, they've always edited anime, but that's always the thing. There's always been like versions of it edited for the West. So it's not
because there are some cultural like differences with anime that don't really translate over to American culture. And sometimes there's a lot of things in anime that are like totally unacceptable in our culture. Like they're just not going to allow that.
I've seen there's one anime, I can't remember the name of this. This young child gets his head blown clean off his shoulders. I'm like, yep, that's not going to fly.
Yeah. Or damn near tentacle porn. Like,
yeah, I don't really support Japan and editing their anime to appeal to us. I think screw that. I mean, one of the things that I like about anime is it's not us, and I mean, trying to homogenize. I mean, I don't like China interfering in our entertainment. I sure as hell don't want to have America interfering.
I think that's where I kind of that's where I think I come from. I don't watch it much, but yeah, if I was somebody like that, if I was a fan, that's how I think I'd stand. What Doomcock just said, definitely.
How dare they?
As far as their media goes, you can still buy the original Japanese versions.
Well, as long as it's
just the versions that come to the U.S. for mass consumption, they will alter some things.
Yeah.
How dare we tell another culture what to do in their culture, right? How how privileged are we as Americans to go in and say, "Oh, you can't. You have to change that for us." No. Screw us. Leave the anime alone to where it's originally intended. Don't change the lines just because you're some man-hating, miserable twat of a woman. You know.
Well, I mean, I don't even think it necessarily is that deep because I mean, I've watched anime. I mean, I used to watch a lot of anime when I was young, and like the American versions are always just different because there's like some language that literally doesn't translate. There are some parts of the culture that are just not going to be understood unless you like kind of flatten it out into something more simplified because you know their culture, it is a different culture, different world, and they have different things they find acceptable, different things that they convey with certain imagery. And I mean, in other countries, it may not be the same. So how do you get the same kind of vision across without, you know, necessarily taken away from the movie? They got to change a little bit of it.
I mean, like the way they portrayed Force Ghost Luke in Rise of Skywalker was for China, because China doesn't like ghost imagery in their media. So they changed how that was shot and presented.
For their market, right?
For their market, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know what
and they change it originally. Like if we go in and demand that, oh no, you have to, we don't tolerate these things, so you know you have to change that sort of thing. It's like fine, it's fine if we kind of cut it and censor it ourselves, and then have the option to go and seek out the original. That's not an issue though.
I don't know. I think we look at anime to escape from the kind of rigorous, you know, conventions of our own entertainment establishment. I think the thing that's so fascinating about anime is you never know what the hell is going to happen because it's so unique and strange. Its perspective is not familiar to us, and it's a lot harder to predict for Americans anyway how an anime is going to turn out, as opposed to, you know, a lot of time, 9 times out of 10, you know where a damn American show or movie is going. But I think watering down that uniqueness of that culture would basically decimate the appeal of anime. I mean, I'm not interested in seeing an American version of, you know, Porco Rosso or Kame ga Kill or Overlord or anything like that. It's just, you know, why bother? So,
well, the closest thing that I can compare it to from my perspective is like the Godzilla movies. And yeah, I mean, watching them as a kid and seeing the American versions and then now being able to see the original versions, there's some big differences there. So I guess I can see that being a bit of an issue, but I mean, I don't know enough about anime, so
I didn't mean this. How dare you to anybody here on like the panel or anything? Just do want to clarify. No. I just kind of meant that as a like us as a puritanical sort of reaction. How dare us?
You want me to do the clip that I don't have up here?
So sorry if it came off that way.
Well, I mean, for me, I'm not talking about like, you know, the more social things. I'm talking about like there was a anime that I saw way back when I was young, probably like 10 or 11, where this old man, this demon disguises himself as an old man following little schoolgirls home to kill them. And he like violates them with his tentacles and he keeps their panties. Like that is just not gonna fly here. Like they can't show that. Now this was an original Japanese anime movie. I don't remember the name. It was so long back. But I mean, that movie today, there's no way that they allow that. That scene is going to be taken out or severely watered down. Like you may only see him following her and then it switches to another scene. But I mean, I was even, when I was watching it, I mean, I was like kind of fascinated because I was like 10, 11 years old. It's like puberty's right around the corner. So I'm like, oh, what's going on here? But that would never be a scene that could be allowed for any person who actually understands what that kind of is. But that's something that is acceptable in Japan. There are like women who sell their panties online to old men in Japan. Like that's a thing.
I thought they had dispensers for used panties.
And dispensers, yes. Dispensers for used panties as well. Yeah. Like that's
you can get them from a vending machine. But the problem is I don't know where those panties have been. It's not coming with a label. It's not coming with a picture. I mean, it could be some old lady You know, I mean,
it's
I need to know where my used panties have been. I'm just saying.
Do these
I'm
panties go through
old-fashioned.
quality control?
I'm a romantic, and I need to know where my used panties have been.
The light is
Otherwise, it just ruins the romance for me.
But I think a lot of the anime has like the age restrictions on it anyway. Like a lot of it, especially like because they aired at a certain time of night over there, from what I understand. And a lot of it's not like exactly made for children. They have specific anime that's made for children, which is going to be like Anpan Man and those sort of things. Like the main.
Shoot, you never been inside of a Japanese convenience store. Them things, there ain't no covers over them anime magazines.
Yeah, that's true.
I've been
That's
there.
true.
I've been there.
And then
That's
manga, like,
crazy.
there's definitely more suggestive sort of material that's definitely more acceptable. But you know, when it's something super graphic, you'll have like pretty much this is more for older people sort of demographic that those are targeted at. So if there is nudity, if there is some really graphic violence, I mean, a lot of that isn't necessarily like broadcast in broad daylight for kids over there.
Anna, what were you going to say there?
Huh?
You were going to say something, and then
I have no idea now.
Sorry about that. Yeah, this went way farther than I thought it was going to go.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. And we have some more super chats here. I'm losing them. That's the thing because I don't have access to them. So Arthur P sent $5. Said, should a real fighter pilot be better than Tom Cruise? I'm not sure what he's referring to, unless he means by actors being able to play what the parts are they're playing.
We want an actual fighter pilot.
Yeah, is that what is? I think that's what he's referring
to. Tom Cruise is an actual fighter pilot.
He might be.
He might be.
Yeah.
Knowing
He
him,
goes all the way in when he does his roles.
Very plausible. And Greg Kirby says QT wants to do a Bounty Law movie. Actually, I heard he wanted to do like a 6-episode run for Netflix, and I think that might actually be happening from what I heard. So stay tuned for that. You never know. That's why I don't buy this 10 movies and I'm done bullshit. He keeps saying he's going to find ways to do other things. And then in one interview, he's like, yeah, I'm a dad now. So like after 5 years of watching Barney all day long, I'm sure I'll have something else that I want to do after a while.
There'll be a dinosaur movie where the dinosaurs all get shot up.
Well, there's been a lot of things where he's been talking about possibly it's time to do Kill Bill 3 as well. So that's something he's always kind of had in his back pocket as well too. But he wanted to wait a certain amount of time to do. So we'll see, folks.
Bill's already killed.
Yeah, what
are you gonna?
Well, it's gonna. I know it's gonna be
the
about.
daughter's a psychopath.
It's the daughter of what's her face coming back for revenge. The one that saw her mom get killed. Vivica A. Fox, is that who played her in that one?
Yeah. The first assassin she took out.
Yeah, her daughter is supposed to be the one coming after Beatrice. So it'll be Kill B is what it'll be called, but yeah.
Yep. Well, that'd be interesting. Of course, I don't know. I like the arc as it is. I don't really want another movie.
Well, he said he set it up in that scene where she's like, you know, if you'll cross and you think you got to come back and get me or whatever, I'll be waiting for you, however she says it, yeah. But anyhow, so look forward to that possibly as a Quentin Tarantino fan. I think that'd be fun. Rob, are you there still?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, just making sure. So Doomcock, I don't know how much longer we got you for.
Probably about like 10 minutes. I
right.
gotta get some sleep.
Let me make sure there isn't any super chats that are directed at you here real quick, just before you do go.
Absolutely.
There was this next one that was going on about the Japanese animation that what you guys were talking about before. Angelica Ledang sends in another $5. Says Japanese animation studios and government have told the U.S. and certain groups to get stuffed when censoring their stuff. So that came in when you guys were talking about that.
Yeah, I just don't like censorship, and I don't like them, imposing it on anime. I don't like anime, getting all woke or anything like that. I hope they don't do that. I just want them to stay, within that unique flavor of the Japanese culture, because, I just don't like homogenizing the world, and I don't support making it Americanized or our entertainment, tailored for overseas.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Next super chat, Rob. You want to take it?
Big super chat is where is it at?
I don't think I have any more that are directly directed. They were kind of come along with the conversation.
Diego Flores. 5 proving Sauls. Rob was talking about Ideon. That is a scene of a battle in a colony, space colony. A typical U.S. lording, also typical U.S. lording over country they nuked twice. Yeah. I don't know what there.
Well, actually, I think this one is kind of for Doomcock. It's about the panties, the last one I sent there.
Oh, yeah, there is one.
Dex Luthor.
Dex Luthor. No, I'm sorry. Next one.
Well, I would say the one for Doomcock, since he's got to leave soon, is Dex Luthor sent in $5. Says, actually, those used panties come with pictures and info about the girl that wore them. The cuter the girl, the more the money the girl can get for them. But you don't know that.
Exactly. It should be counterfeit panties. You know? How do I know? How do I know?
It's probably just some granny sitting there just wiping along. As
Wiping. Not dirty that way. What kind of sickos are you?
Fascinated in how I'm disgusted.
Oh,
Tom,
Harvey approves.
You're canceled, Tom.
Oh my goodness. I mean, but that is the point. That is the point.
Hey, phrasing.
The provenance. How do you determine the provenance of the aforementioned panties? I would
exactly.
You know, I mean, it just.
Well, she's got a picture of herself taking them off and putting them in the vending machine.
Oh, no,
exactly.
Harvey won't go away. Why won't he go away?
Well, because we're talking about panties. He won't go.
He's like, yeah.
Oh, that Swinestein, I tell you, he's bad. Bad. Hey, how long do you think that chick is going to make it?
Are you talking about old
Jeffrey Epstein's little pal.
Girl? Ooh, well, we know if she ends up dead in jail, we know what happened.
I'm just saying, it'll be a
killed
harder
herself.
trick to pull.
Herself in 3 days.
She's gonna kill herself.
Oh yeah.
I wonder. I mean, she must know things that other people don't want to have disclosed. So
sorry about that, Doctor.
Well, they might want to, they're going to try and make it more realistic this time, and only 4 parts of the security measures are going to break down before she offs herself.
Exactly. The 5th one will show Bigfoot. It'll show Bigfoot.
It'll be the beef jerky Bigfoot that comes in and just.
Exactly. It'll be Mulder squatching.
Oh, no.
And then you can go ahead and read that Culture Casino one, Rob.
Sure thing. Culture Casino, $2. Arthur P. Tom Cruise isn't a fighter pilot. Canceled.
I'm pretty sure he is.
I think they were getting at basically, so Tom Cruise isn't a pilot, so
no, I know, yeah.
No, but so he shouldn't be able to play a pilot in the same way that a person can't play something they're not, if they're not really of a certain race or sex, they can't play that part. And
yeah, when we're talking about the Holly Berry backing away from that role because she's not trans.
Right.
Yeah. They're going to have diversity scouts, Doomcock. They're going to go out across the country like baseball scouts.
If I wanted to watch reality TV, I would.
Exactly. I want actually actors that can act, pretend that they're something they're not. Right.
Brie Larson has a YouTube channel.
Right.
Let me know.
Brie Larson is pretending to be an actress. I think that's a very skilled performance. She's very skilled at pretending to be an actress.
She just wants to be people, though.
I just want to be human. Is that so wrong?
Oh, shit.
Dominic Clem with a $2.99 super chat was asking, does the retcon really happen? Just rumors?
Oh, yeah, I missed that one. Sorry about that. Yeah.
No, that's okay, but that's one probably.
That's a very nuanced answer, I think. You should check out Doomcock's and our videos on that probably. If you haven't already. But otherwise, Doomcock, what do you say to that real quick?
I think that it's probably gonna happen. I think that the situation over there is pretty dire, and I think they're pretty desperate. And my gut feeling, is that as improbable as it seems, something along those lines is going to happen. The question is, will it be enough? Because fans are only going to come back, and not all of them will. I mean, not all of them will forgive, no way. But if you're going to get a proportion of the fan base back, you're going to have to apologize, and you're going to have to fix things to the best of your ability. And just ignoring them isn't going to do it. It's got to be something more to get back those people, and I think they know that. And I've been getting a whole lot more information. That I was actually going to come out with a different video today, and then I saw this and I said, okay, well, I'm just going to put that one on ice. But the more I'm hearing, the more I'm convinced that that changes are coming for sure. And I think along those lines, one way or another, I think the sequel trilogy is headed for the scrap heap in one way or another.
All right. Greg Kirby says, Doomcock sing the Kill franchise song. I don't know if Doomcock really wants to sing right now, but
the Kill franchise? You mean Goodbye My Franchise?
Maybe that's what they mean, yeah.
Is that what you're talking about? Is that what you're talking about? Yeah. I could sing like a verse of it. Why not?
Yeah, it's up to you. I don't want to put you on the spot. So
no. It's let's say goodbye my franchise, goodbye my Star Trek, goodbye to Enterprise. Kurtzman has given me a horrible STD. It isn't Star Trek, it's like a car wreck, and now it hurts to pee. No penicillin will cure this STD.
Yeah. Hail Doomcock. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. You know what's funny is I was watching Space Odyssey last night, 2001, and the ship is called the Discovery.
Yes, it is, sadly. But we have to just ignore that.
On the Discovery's part or 2001's part?
It's Discovery. Just it doesn't exist. I mean, it's
I was
crap.
gonna say.
It doesn't mean anything.
Exactly. Do you have a few more minutes here? Or?
Yeah, a couple more minutes.
All right. Where we leave off, Rob? I think it was
Go Big Boar or Go Home. $2. I recognize that name.
That's where we were. Yep.
$2. Hey Mecca, can Pope Iger join us? Bob be with you. I don't know.
Good Lord, no.
Yes. Well, people always wanted a Supreme Leader versus Doomcock off, I guess. Does that sound right?
Pope Iger?
Pope Iger. Hello. This is Pope Bob Iger. How are you? Glory to Bob in the highest. Bob be with you. I'm here to decree my holiness is going to fix the Star Wars.
He gave us Baby Yoda.
That's right. Baby Yoda. Another small child who came to save us that was born under the star. Praise be to Bob.
People want you to take him on.
Yes, that we're going to put that beach Captain Kennedy on ice finally. Yes, Bobby with you all. Bobby with you.
Never heard Pope Bob before. I like that. Pope Iger.
Wait. Somebody said something about putting my ice on wife. I mean, wife on ice. What? Where do I vote and where do I pay?
I like that idea.
That's a great idea.
I think that's a great idea. I didn't know you could put your wife on ice. That's great.
Billy, where you been, man? I love you, man. Where you been? It's been so long. I did coke with you back like what, 94, 95? I don't know. You was president.
Now I want you to listen now. Listen close. I did not do drugs with that man. Ever.
Jeffrey Epstein. I did not. I did not have sexual relations in proximity with that man.
Okay. Now that we've derailed this.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman. I haven't touched Hillary in years.
Okay.
Rotten, baby.
Billy, would you read us the next super chat?
Okay, hold on. Where am I?
Michael J. Cox, I think it was.
Michael J. Cox. Uche, the Man of Steel, is good outside the overwhelming CGI and General Zod's dumb and dumber haircut. That hair was out of this universe.
Maybe because he was an alien. Aliens don't have haircuts like humans.
That's right. Common Sense America for $4.99. Sorry, Uche.
I like the haircut bit. That was kind of fun.
Man of Steel was awesome.
No.
Anime always seems to truly embrace the human imagination in all of its various works. That's right. Well, a lot of it is very rooted in the human condition. A lot of it also has to deal with life during wartime, which and under enemy occupation. No, I wonder why.
Yeah, I don't know.
Dex Luther, $5 Canadian. All those used panties come with pictures and info. So, okay, yeah, we already got that.
Yeah.
I need certificate of authenticity, actually. Jeffrey Turner, aka Mega Jetty 1, $2. KB1 is better artistically, more Japanese. Kill Bill 1. Okay. Okay, that's actually another chat. Rude Artist, $4.99. Always remember that the Ewok movies were once considered canon to the original Star Wars.
And so living up to his name, that's very rude to remind us that.
Almost forgot. Thanks.
Tracy Wilborn, $5. I was just watching the first season of Star Trek Next Generation. Wesley Crusher is the original Mary Sue. No, Lieutenant Mary Sue is the original Mary Sue.
Well, she said Marty
Sue.
Marty Sue. Oh, sorry, Marty Sue. There you
but
go.
if I'm wondering if Tracy's aware of the whole Mary Sue story, where it came from.
That's an interesting one. I've not read the actual fan fiction that resulted in that, but I imagine it must be painful. Is it awful?
It is abysmal. It really is.
And evidently, I missed a chunk of super chats here.
It's only like 3/4 of a page long.
Oh my god!
But
that much awfulness and
yeah, it is pure. It is pure concentrated awfulness.
Jesus.
And hopefully I didn't miss anybody else's super chats, but Shellback TJC sends $2, says get Walton's best brew now.
Shellback, I love you on the high council though, bro. Come on, man.
Yeah.
I love you.
Big Daddy MRI. I'm sorry I can't see what the sticker is now. I lost it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hey, listen, I gotta run, guys.
Yeah, that's no problem, man.
But listen, thanks for having me on. Good to see you guys again, and hope
we're getting close to the end anyway. So yeah.
Well, that's awesome, you guys. Listen, thank you so much, Tom, Mecca, Steven, Uche, that Star Wars girl, Captain Rob. Thank you guys so much.
And thank you for popping in, man. We appreciate it 100%, man. Take care, brother.
Brother, love you, dude.
Bye.
Love you,
probably
too,
see you
guys.
Friday.
See you next time. Bye-bye.
And like Mr. Millennium says, holy shit, what a roster. Hail to you all. Indeed. It has been a hell of a night so far. And Anna, you came in a little later here. Is it a little cooler now in your shed or your garage or wherever it is you broadcast from?
It's like a room that was built on to the sunroom, so it's not insulated. So during the winter, it's fucking freezing, and I'm sitting here in like snow pants and snow boots. And during the summer, it's like a heat bucket that just gets beyond 100 before 9 a.m. And so it's miserable.
The correct is
AC. There's two people speaking at once. What?
Yeah, okay. Steven first.
I'm sorry. I was just saying you need an AC in that room.
I have a fan, but the way that it works is I tried because I got one of those portable AC units and it blew a fuse.
Oh, wow.
So, well, because my computer, it's a really powerful computer, but then I have like 4 monitors hooked up and then my lights, and it's just too much power. It's just fixing it.
Flip
Just
that
remodeled the
breaker.
kitchen. Then we got to remodel. We got to rewire the entire house. It's a project. Wow. This is the last on the list of the things we need to do for the house. Right now, it's like I can film my videos in the early morning or at night. And the rest of the day, I got to spend inside the house or else my computer just overheats. So it's at a good 90 degrees right now. So I'm still sweating, but yeah.
Well, thank you for your sacrifice. We appreciate it.
No problem.
Culture Casino sends $2, says mine. Oh, and Anna needs to tell the raccoon story.
I think everyone at this point has heard the damn raccoon story.
I remember watching that live. That was amazing. I don't think I laughed as hard as I ever did at YouTube. Not since I seen Cecil pass out on stream last week.
That was great.
Oh, that was amazing.
I'm all right.
She fell right out the chair, bro.
Yeah, first you're like concerned for like a minute or two, and then all of a sudden you hear Cecil. All right. All right.
Oh shit! I wish I could have seen that.
It's all over Twitter. I'm sure you can find it. And hail Cecil. I asked him to be on. Unfortunately, he couldn't make it tonight. But yeah.
Motherfucker needs to hydrate. That's why.
Yeah.
No.
I was like, no worries, man. What was that, Anna?
Keep Cecil drunk.
Keep Cecil drunk. That was something else. I love Cecil. All right. But yeah, no, I'm glad that you were able to make it, even though it's 90 sweltering degrees where you're at. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So have you gotten any new Baby Yodas? Did you get the one that makes noise yet?
I have not. I've been so busy and not enough time to go shopping. I just got back from the 4th of July stuff, so I haven't even gone grocery shopping. I'm like, Reese's and cup of noodles for the next couple of days.
Well, that's like your regular diet anyway, ain't it?
It is, but I'm kind of craving meat, like real meat. And I'm just like, I don't want to see people.
Oh, you're getting Uche all worked up over here now.
Oh yeah, when we start talking about steak, so good. I'm so hungry.
Grade A. DA. Prime rib cut.
But oh man, it's been a hell of a high council tonight. We got another super chat here, Rob, from Adrian Reynolds.
Adrian Reynolds, $10. My mom co-wrote the Delta Triad fanzine, told her not to do the Mary Sue story because it's in bad form. She helped start Star Trek cons and knew all the fan writers and drove the actors. Oh, very cool.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, I mean, the thing is that I love about the Star Trek fan community is they were the ones that started the fan films. You know, they were the ones that, were responsible for a lot of the cons and all that kind of stuff that we do now. I mean, if you really trace it all back, a lot of it started with Star Trek. I mean, some of it comes out of the comic book world, but a big, large part of it was this fan community that just would not die, no matter how hard they tried to kill it. But yeah,
credit the Doctor Who fandom with some of that too.
A little bit, yeah. Well, yeah, because that was probably the equivalent overseas there, I'd imagine. Especially, but again, like I said, I remember, earliest recollections of like these fan conventions and things like this, and fanzines and fan stories and even fan films comes from the likes of Star Trek fans more so.
Yeah.
Are you guys all going to go to Star Trek convention in December?
I think that's the plan, but more so just to go to Jesse's birthday, but. And get together with everybody. But yeah, because like the actual convention itself, I don't really think there's. Oh, speaking of conventions, there's rumor going around that Marvel's not going to have anything for the virtual Comic-Con this year, which is adding credence to what we were talking about earlier, guys. By the way, I know it's a little off topic, but yeah, I don't know what you guys think about that, but that's a little interesting tidbit of news that came through while we were on.
Not a big Marvel fan. Don't really care.
Well, it's Disney as a whole, I think, too, is a bigger thing. But again, this is pushing off a lot of stuff. And we'll see how it goes. And then I heard another rumor, though, that does go with DC. I heard that they're trying to get rid of Ezra Miller. I don't know how true that is.
I'll believe it when I see it. We don't just flop over and die over on DC land.
Learn it?
Did you want to fight? Is that the deal? Whoa, bro. Fight?
He hasn't choked Stan the right. He didn't choke Stan the right time.
He's now going to play the choker. He's not going to be Flash anymore.
Right.
Well, it shouldn't even be him anyway. It needs to be Wally.
You talking about the TV guy?
No, Wally West.
Oh, Wally West, the Wally West Flash.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't really matter for the movies, I think.
Well, it's Wally West that's in the Justice League, not Barry.
Yeah, but I mean,
that's their perfect out to get rid of him. Oh, because I think wasn't that what they're supposed to do with the Flash movie? Is to get him out. Like that's going to be how Barry, for those that don't know, something happens to Barry and the Flash becomes Wally West, and I thought that's what the movie was going to be. Especially after, because I was like, why on earth are they doing a Flash movie now? And then I'm like, maybe it's the stuff with Ezra Miller. Oh, they're going to have Michael Keaton. All right, that's cool. Get rid of Ezra. Perfect opportunity to do it. And it makes sense because that's what happens. Bring in Wally, and then boom, he's in the Justice League. There you go. Ready to get rid of him.
I don't like Ezra. I
don't think anyone
unapologetically I don't like him. I didn't like him
like
before.
I like his vibe. I mean, I feel like in Justice League, obviously, they took him a little bit too far. But whose fault is that? That's not his fault. Shoot, he's reading.
Yeah, but you're a little biased too, Uche, and I would never pick a fight with you. But that's the one casting call, and this one that I'm just like I don't. Well, that's not true. Between that and Jesse Eisenberg,
nobody really had a problem until
look. I'll give you everything in the world when it comes to the casting on Zack Snyder with Ben Affleck as Batman, Henry Cavill as Superman, Gal Gadot.
All of them.
They're fine and great, but then you hit Ezra Miller, and you're like, huh? And you hit, and then what the fuck was he thinking about having Eisenberg play Luthor? Was the other thing I was going to say. But other than that, even Aquaman is great casting. So
I like
sorry.
Luthor. I get it. I get Luthor. I understand. If you really see, I've watched BVS so many times that I actually have studied the themes behind.
I'm hoping an old man Luthor shows up. Okay, just like I'm hoping an old man fucking
with an old man Luthor.
Because then I could actually go, okay, this is not the Luthor that we're supposed to have. Anyway, I get it's supposed to be Luthor Jr. My point is why do we have a Lex Luthor who's just like the fucking Riddler? I mean, he's better as the Riddler.
They need to have Lex Luthor like they had in the animated show.
Look, he was behind Lex Luthor in BVS. Like, for instance, the song that Kanye West did, "What's a king to a god? What's a god to a king? What's a god to a non-believer?" Luthor is the non-believer who wants control over God itself. So he sees Superman as God. He wants to control God. He doesn't believe Batman is the king.
Yeah, but you can do that without having it being creepy Jesse Eisenberg. It's just piss poor fucking casting. I'm sorry. That's all I'm saying, man.
I mean, they threw a little bit of that eccentricness in there, but I mean, still at the end of the day, if the vision was allowed to play out in the way it was supposed to, you were going to see some of that quirkiness dissolve away as his more sinister side rises to the top. That's where it was going with Luthor as a character. He was going to have a bigger role, obviously, in Justice League that was going to portray that.
I know, but he wasn't playing him like Lex. He was playing him like the Riddler, and that's exactly what Tom
That's what I was saying, yeah.
Like the Riddler.
I mean, I don't think it's Jesse Eisenberg's fault because, I mean, from what I've seen, the movies that I've seen him in, he's not a bad actor.
No, he'd have been perfect as the Riddler.
Well, look, there's every different strokes for different folks, right? In this version of Luthor, there's a little bit of that mad scientist, there's a little bit of that eccentric billionaire, and then there's a damaged, abused, genius who is still seeking, that stamp of approval from his long gone father. Like he never got his due as a child within his own family structure, and he desires to control.
Yeah, but his dad was the same way, so in essence, he should turn out just like his dad then.
And again, the progression of the character was moving towards that more sinister, diabolical genius. And
but then it just gets me back around to the question of why we just didn't have Lex Luthor in the first place.
Because why? We've seen Lex Luthor so many times. That's like,
well, we've seen the Joker so many times too, but
we've seen the Joker 3 times.
But I'm just saying, we could go all night on this, and I know that.
Yeah.
Tim Riggs sends $20. Work has been an absolute nightmare since March. You guys help me chill after these 10, 11-hour days. Want to show my support. Keep it real, y'all. Well, thank you so much. Obviously, you're probably working in one of the fields that's considered essential. So we appreciate your sacrifice, sir. And damn, man, those are some long days. I mean, I get told I don't sleep, but holy shit.
Yeah, that sucks. Well, keep trucking.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, Sam.
Adrian Reynolds sends another $5. Says she now writes the Angel Warriors series since the fandom got crazy. Well, sorry to hear that she had to get away from the fandoms. Hopefully, it wasn't more from our side than the other. But yeah, sorry to hear that. But hopefully, she's doing well.
Yeah.
And I don't think we have any more. I think this is the last super chat here, if I'm not mistaken. Hopefully, I didn't miss any more. Dark King sends $5 Australian. They should have cast The Rock as Luthor as an homage to the DC animated series. Maybe
I would find somebody that's a little bit more serious.
I would have went a little older. Yeah, I mean, here's my thing. Like, I wouldn't have had a problem with Leto's Joker. I wouldn't have had a problem with Eisenberg's Luthor so much. If when you bring in, you should have. And again, you're right, Uche. This may have happened had Snyder been able to do his plan. And I have a feeling that that's kind of the situation with Leto's Joker as well, is there are these other versions out there that we're going to see. Like, I have a feeling there's another version of Joker out there. I have a feeling there's another, we know there's the dad Luthor
out characters.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't get to get fleshed out.
No. And I have a feeling like there was more to that story, especially with the Joker. Like, that version we see is not, I don't think that's the standard Joker. I think that's the either Tim Drake or Jason Todd or something like that. So they kind of set that up.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, and even with Ultimate Edition on BVS, like there were two other scenes of Luthor where you can see that he's kind of changing. Like, his whole demeanor was far more serious. He was very focused. When he was setting up the battle between Superman and Batman, there was these little montage scenes where he just was standing there, and you could tell it was, everything was coming together in his head.
Yeah,
and those were cut out of the theatricals.
Well, the sad part is they end up using, and this is just imagine if they would have brought in a classic Joker thing, reveal that this is not, this is Tim Drake or Jason Todd or whatever, and then out of the shadows comes the original Joker, and too bad they used him already, and it was like Willem Dafoe. Like, could you imagine like a Willem Dafoe Joker?
Perfect as Joker.
Yeah, like start off with that Jason Todd. He's the gangster Joker.
Right.
Yeah. And then you think the Joker's dead all this time, but oh no, he's not. That would have been killer to bring that. But now you can kind of do that with
cliffhanger where the gangster Joker reveals himself to Ben Affleck's Batman that he's actually Jason Todd.
Of course, Ben Affleck probably knows that all along too. That's probably why he's whatever. But yeah,
is he coming back? Is that a thing? Or
no? I don't think Leto's coming back.
I'm talking about Affleck.
Oh, Affleck, that's a big possibility. I've heard a lot of shit about that. Yes, that's a big possibility.
That would be the fucking best.
Yeah.
Batman.
What I heard was they tried to talk him into doing his Batman movie as a series, but he's like, no, I want to do it as a movie. So they're going to do it possibly as a movie for HBO Max. And then that opens the door for more stuff to possibly come from.
Batman had me.
Affleck was good.
In.
But yeah, the rumor is they want to do that Deathstroke script.
Oh, please do.
Because the rumor was that the script was good and it was done, and the reason why Ben Affleck got pissed is because Johns axed it.
Wow. Oh, well, go figure, right?
Mm-hmm. And Culture Casino says, bring back Hackman as Lex. I will not argue with that, but Gene Hackman is retired. There's been no better Lex Luthor, in my opinion.
Look, I like Hackman as
He's the greatest criminal mind of our times.
Yeah, I like Hackman as Lex, man, but I prefer that billionaire eccentric mad scientist kind of. That's what I want to see. And moving forward.
Otis, next time, wait till I get out of the pool before giving me my robe, will you? Sorry, Mr. Luthor. Those cat-like reflexes. It's amazing.
Want to see a long arm?
You want to see a really long arm, Otis? Miss Tessmacher! That's another. You got to have Miss Tessmacher. Because she's the best. Anyway, moving on. I think we beat this Otisburg. It's a bitty place. Otisburg.
It's a little bitty place.
Miss Tessmacher's got her own place. I'll wipe it off. All right, folks. I think we're reaching the end of our steam here. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I got street right.
Yeah, as I say, I think 6 hours in. No, it's actually only 3. So, Anna, I want to thank you for coming in at the latter part there. I appreciate that.
No problem.
And of course, thanks to Doomcock for popping in there, and of course Andre for being here earlier, and Rob for coming in, clutch.
Like
Steven, of course, for being Steven.
Hell, brother, thank you for having me.
Uche, of course, for being here. Period. Just showing up with us crazy bums.
Hey man, you know I love coming on, man. I appreciate you.
And of course, Mecca's the co-host, so I can't really thank her for doing much more than being the gracious co-host she is. So
You're writing me still. I mean, it's an honor.
Oh, well, you were part of the council before I ever was. So Michael J. Cox sends $5 and says, I'm super chatting because Uche is the only person I've ever seen dig Eisenberg's Luther. Don't agree, but respect. Well, that's what the fandom menace is about. We don't always agree. We don't agree on anything half the time.
Appreciate that, Michael J. Cox.
That's right. But no, I do respect Uche for having conviction in his standings on that. And yeah, go ahead and plug that real quick, Anna, because actually she brought it up earlier, but do it again.
I'm not even reading the
Okay, cool. I didn't want to ask on air just in case you had something going on. So every week, Jesse and I do a show called The Matriarchy, and we rotate between my channel and hers. Tomorrow, it's on my channel, but Jesse is out of town. So Mecca has agreed to be my co-host for tomorrow.
Nice.
Thanks for having me. I never check my stupid DMs, and then I never check anything else.
Oh, no, you're fine. Yeah, I'm excited. Mecca, just a spoiler, we're going to be reading some of those lovely comments on Bree's video before they get deleted. So tune in tomorrow. It's going to be at 2 p.m. I am going to probably jumping in the shower right before the stream and coming on with soaked hair. So just FYI, I think that's the only way I'll be able to get through it. But it will be tomorrow, 2 p.m. on my channel, me and Mecca. And I think it's the first time we've streamed just us on my channel.
Yeah. Now, this is 2 p.m. Pacific. So that's 3 p.m. Mountain, 4 p.m. Central.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
That's
like time zones for everybody.
That's like an immovable force hitting an unstoppable object or whatever, isn't it?
Any chance of seeing Brie Larson on the stream itself?
Any chance of seeing mud wrestling?
Hey, that's in her court. That ball's in her court.
I don't think she'd want to come on my channel, but I have. It's kind of like having someone in your house. I don't necessarily think I would want Brie Larson to enter my home.
Yeah, that's the thing. Never had a vampire in.
Like her, she would have to give me a good reason as to why I should let her into my home.
I'll give her a good reason because you two women are the biggest women in the fandom menace. So there you go.
It's I don't know.
We don't exist though.
She would have to ask.
Sit on my couch, that kind of thing. I'm gonna have to throw that couch away after.
I almost thought you were going to say something completely different, but that means it's time for me to end the show then because my mind's wandering in places it does not need to go.
Out of the gutter.
Oh, Tommy, real quick, if I can just shout one person out, if that's okay.
Yeah, he was supposed to have a wrench too. Obviously, Andre doesn't know how to do that.
That's all right. Tommy of the Guinea Pig Collective, he has been a big mod for many of our channels. Very hard-working mob. He's gotten a tough time right now. He's got a bunch of
cool items, old school toys up on eBay. So please check out Tommy and the Guinea Pig Collective's channel. Link to his eBay will be in the description. Please go check those things out. And if you like anything, pick it up. Help my man out. He's just needs to pick up some money for a mortgage. Everybody's going through tough times right now. It'd be greatly appreciated. We rise together. Hail and thank you.
And my apologies to those who thought they were getting a wrench tonight. Andre boomered, and I'll talk to him about that in the morning. I was like, no wonder.
It was like 3 a.m. when he started.
No, I gave him this info way earlier.
Okay.
Yeah, he had a list of people he was supposed to make, and he said he did. He probably tried. He thought he did, I'm sure. So he just had a boomer moment, I'm sure.
So I didn't want to necessarily throw this out there because it might keep us going another hour. But I just seen this headline here: liberal writers, activists sign open letter calling to end cancel culture.
Thank God.
J.K. Rowling, Barry Weiss, Noam Chomsky, and Gloria Steinman.
Oh, I'd like to add myself to that list. Where can I get on that list? I'm not.
Salman Rushdie also signed it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
You
All
got
damn time.
calling them out on CNN. You've got all kinds of, or at least it's calling out some of the stuff. And you got a lot of these. And John Cleese on Twitter calling out just cancel culture in general. That's great.
So they finally figured out that the left eats its own. Good job, guys. I'm glad you figured that out. I'm going to quit this nonsense. I can get behind that.
And Maldus Alvar sends us a fingers up sticker. Thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, we could probably talk about that for a little longer, or really just say I'm glad to see some people in the media in Hollywood are finally getting smart.
They're coming to their senses.
Well, as George Carlin once said, not in my backyard. And when it started hitting their backyards, maybe they realized this isn't a good idea. I'm glad to hear common sense prevails, even if it had
Hail St. George.
Hail St. George.
Maldus Alvar says 1 more hour. You know, I mean, normally Jeff kind of keeps them to the 3-hour mark because so that way, you know, they can get over to Jesse's stream and do their thing there. And, you know, 3 hours is kind of like, you know, it's kind of like Rob just said.
Old days when it was like 6 hours.
Well, Annie, you guys go like ungodly hours. I can't even sit through most of the streams. You guys are troopers.
So then when it's on my channel, I'm like, okay, 2 hours, it's done. Everybody else.
Like, I mean, I probably could if we had, you know, the gumption to, but like, it's like, wow, just trying to keep up with everything in the chat and then realizing that nobody had wrenches that was supposed to finally. And yeah.
I'm sorry, I haven't looked at the chat too much either.
And I hope I didn't miss any super chats, but I'm sure I did, unfortunately. And if I did and they're still here, please let me know in the chat real quick before we go. But again, I want to thank Uche for showing up and that Star Wars girl Anna for showing up. Check out their channels. Doomcock, of course. Overlord DVD. You can find him on YouTube as well. Author Stephen Walton. Check out his book and his YouTube channel. And Rob's got a channel as well. Check out Mecca's channel, of course. Check us out on Midnight's Edge After Dark, where if you liked some of our shenanigans here tonight, you'll see that just about every other night there. We do a show on Mondays and Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Central, and then we do something on the weekends. Usually we don't announce when generally until we know what's going on, but generally Saturdays or Sundays we do something fun. So and Rob, I think it's about time maybe we talk about, you want to announce our other big thing we're going to do on Midnight's Edge After Dark? Why not?
What's that?
Are you kidding me?
Oh,
put the porn down and pay attention.
Switch that
time. He's an old
switch that tab.
Oh, okay, hold on.
You're fired. You're unfired. I need you. Come here.
Okay. The trivia thing?
Yeah, that trivia thing.
Oh yeah. We're gonna be like doing some trivia. So we're gonna get this worked out. We're gonna have inviting people on to play.
He's not selling it very well, but
yeah,
we're going to play Jeopardy. That's right. We're going to have YouTubers come on and challenge themselves for bragging rights to see who knows more about pop culture, genre entertainment, and all that good stuff. Isn't that right? And Rob is your host.
Yes.
Don't go by what he's
What a great hit.
He's like,
he's like, it is after like midnight where he's at. So I do give him props for hanging in there all this time. We'll give him a lazy puppy for now.
Doggy.
While the rest of us, well, I think we deserve a maximum effort puppy.
Journey.
Yeah. And we want to thank everybody out there. Y'all enjoyed the show, I hope. I've been trying to get this together all week. It's been stressful, but I'm glad to be at the finish line here. And I want to thank everybody for tuning in and joining us on the High Council for the first time ever on Midnight's Edge. So thanks so much, guys.
You sound so tired.
I am kind of tired, to be honest with you.
Should I cue the music, Tom?
They want Fenton in chat.
What's that?
They want Fenton.
Oh, they want Fenton. You know what? Let's just go out on Fenton. Why not?
All right.
Fenton works.
Jesus Christ! Fenton!